To the kickoff today, it's Spurs versus Chelsea. We got Bavs, Jacob, Joey, and Josh, two Chelsea fans whose arses are going to be twitching like a rabbit's nose. But first, we're going to talk about the big game from the weekend, Newcastle at home to Arsenal. We got two Arsenal fans. The goal that has divided a nation. Lads, what did you make of the goal generally?
It was a disgrace. Listen, it's annoying as an Arsenal fan. I felt helpless after that because when you feel like, I don't think Arsenal deserved to win that game. Let me make that clear. I think it was a draw at best. But I think to lose that game was, for me, a massive refereeing mistake. And it's not just the goal. It's the red card and Bruno, which for me, I don't think anyone can argue that. There's a whole host of decisions in that game. I was like, it's going against us. And when you check the goal 3 times, I'm going, he's going to find something here. But it seems like they were trying to give the striker the advantage or something like that, which for me is annoying because it's inconsistent. Can
we break it down then, piece by piece? Did anyone on this table think the goal went out of the ball crossed the line?
No. Well, everyone's seen the video now of like the angles now where they kind of the perspective ones.
Look, I've been doing science experiments all day. I've been laying paper down on the floor, putting footballs over the top of it. Like we've all proven it at home. It's quite easy.
So is it the push that's the big question?
What I'd argue, right, is it conclusive that it's on though?
Sorry?
Is it conclusive that the ball was on play?
I think there's just as much either way.
That's what I'm saying.
Did you see the BN Sport thing with the graphic?
I think if you can make just as much of a case either way, you surely got to go. Well, you can't say
the thing I think they need to do that, what they need to clear this up, the whole thing of perspective, and if you look that way, blah, 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 make it simple and clear. If the ball is touching the paint, it's in play. If there's any grass between the ball and the paint, it's out of play. Simple. Then we're not talking about camera angles.
That's far too much common sense, mate. We can't.
I know it's not. It works in the Premier League.
We'd have nothing to talk about.
The rest. Do I think it went out of play? I don't know. Not really. It's not relevant when he's clearly offside. There has to be 2 players because he's behind the goalkeeper, so he's offside. The push on the back is nuts. The push on the back, mate. If that's anywhere else, like anyone who's like, I'm sure some of you play football. You play football when you're a defender. You're playing football. When you're behind someone and you're challenging for a header, you get taught very simply. One hand, you're fine. As soon as you do 2 hands, that's a push. It's going to be a foul. Anywhere else on the pitch, then because he's got his hands like that, he catches the ball. Mm-hmm. He catches the ball.
Well, I can't. I don't know if we can say. Factually, that we know he caught the ball like in the hands because
I've got pictures.
He's got
but so the interesting one is I seen Ian Wright uploaded a picture of Joe Linton with his hands on the back of the head of was it Gabriel? I got the fucking defender wrong in my video. But the point is a picture like that, it looks a lot worse than it was in reality, in my opinion. That's not me saying it wasn't a push. But like Josh has been saying, when you really slow it down or freeze frame anything and the referee goes to the board, it doesn't tell the full story, in my opinion, of the momentum, what was really happening. So when I watched it back, and I just put a clip out today, and to be fair, another lad put a different angle, and that then made me go, actually, am I right? But I thought that Joe Linton was jumping in an upright position, trying to use a little bit of leverage as we do when we jump for the ball, whereas Gabriel was kind of jumping forward to flick it on that way, away from the goal. So when Gabriel falls to the floor, I think it's because he's diving forward to flick it on. And yes, there's a bit of a push there, but was it enough to throw him to the floor, or was his momentum when he was trying to dive for the ball throwing him to the floor? I thought, and this isn't, look, we've already won the game. I could give a fuck. If anything, it's funnier if it is a fucking push. But I genuinely thought, was that like, it wasn't like when you see the photograph, it looks like Joe Linton's throwing him to the floor. But in real time, that's not really what happened, in my opinion.
The problem is, right, is we've seen the opposite given, where it's light contact. There was one with David Luiz a few years ago against Wolves, where like he just taps him.
Oh, mate, there's so much inconsistency.
And so that's what I'm thinking. It's like you have to set a standard. If that was against Arsenal, we're going, okay, so in the future that'll work for us, wouldn't it? And that was an example why it didn't work. There was one more thing last year. Was it Martinelli against Man United when he's in? And I think Odegaard's fouled Eriksen. They look for contact. We saw contact, and it's a push ultimately. If it helps or not, he's pushed them to the ground, and it's not clear and obvious, but they've done it in the past. So that's why fans are frustrated.
Percentage-wise, just to put it really clear, what I'm trying to say is the percentage of who's at fault for Gabriel landing on his arse. You've dived as well to flick the ball over. So there's a high percentage of your momentum doing what you want to do. There's also Joe Linton putting his hands on you. I think he's genuinely gone in it. Like the motions of when you go up for I'm just trying fucking with a science experiment here. When a player pushes another player, they go together. Yeah. That's not what happens here. He goes up, he goes forward. So to me, Gabriel is dancing to his own tune, doing his own thing, and Joe Linton's trying to rise for the ball. So I don't think that what Joe Linton did was enough for Gabriel to land on his arse, and I think that for me, that's why I would have allowed that. The offside's another story.
Do you not think from one angle as well, it looks like Gabriel is jumping for the ball, and his head gets pushed under the ball. His hands end up pushing him under.
This is what I was going to say.
It looks like that.
It's hard when you're not watching it back. If you watch it back, Gabriel's there, the ball's coming towards him, he's perfectly positioned to make the header. When someone's got two hands on your back and you're perfectly positioned to make a header, and you then don't make the header. You have to look at the fact that someone's forced out their hands.
The force from Joe Linton jumping higher is what's actually ducked his head
I think Joe Linton's essentially leant on his back like that. And I think you're right. I think he's crouched down because he's trying to go behind himself.
Yeah.
But because he's put... Like, if he just does an arm, if he just does one hand, it's fine. But let's be really honest about what's actually happening here. When we're talking about the same game of football, where we've seen like a UFC-style forearm to the back of the head from Bruno Guimaraes, not even a foul, not even a yellow given... Let's be really honest.
Okay.
Like, referees are scared of your stadium.
Okay,
referees are scared of your stadium.
Let's put this on hold because we have neutrals. Well, I mean, slight neutrals. The Chelsea boys. Let's go the committee, boys. Honestly, what did you make of the goal? Would you have given it? Would you have not given it?
I was surprised to see Havertz still on the pitch at that point, and I'm not just sticking the knife in on him.
Let's talk about the goal. We'll go to the Havertz thing. Let's talk about the goal.
Do you know what? When there's so many offences, you think they're going to catch one charge at least, surely.
Oh, I believed that at the time,
and that's why I thought that law of averages were going to say, when I was sat there watching it, I was thinking, there's no way they're giving this goal. So, of course, because I'm thinking there's no way they're giving this goal, then obviously I'm very much surprised when they do give the goal. But if I do break it down bit by bit, I think the first thing that I can completely rule out is the argument of the ball going out of play, because we can see from one angle, but unless we have got either touchline technology, which we don't have, or a bird's eye view, which we don't have drones above the ground, it hasn't got a roof on the stadium, unless we've got either one of two of them things, we can't say definitively the ball went out of play. There's just as much evidence it did that it didn't, different angles, whatever. So then when you look, obviously, at the push, again, that's the maybe slightly biggest offence from the whole thing that you could go, okay, maybe there's a chance there. That's the one when I sort of looked at it and I thought, do you know what? I'm not sure I would give it, but I don't think they're going to give the goal here. We'll say one thing, though. We watched the Manchester derby the week before, right? That infringement that went for the penalty in that match, right? I thought that was soft. I didn't think it was a penalty. I think that was probably worse than the Newcastle push. So
Josh,
if you're going on about consistency, there you go.
That's the point.
Yeah.
What would you said, Josh?
I think when I was watching it in real time, and this is where the big difference goes for me, is when you watch it in real time as if you were on the pitch and the referee's got to make a decision versus VAR. When I watched it in real time, I thought, do you know what? That looks fine. It was one of those things where, two players are going up for the header, one misses out, and then it goes. But then when it's slowed down, and then when I see the stills, like today, I've seen the stuff going around on Twitter, and you go, right, well, there's a still of him literally two hands on the back, and that looks awful. But I've experienced that for Chelsea this season, where we've had Malo Gusto being shown, the VAR gets pulled over, and it's literally a high tackle because they've stopped it at the point in which his leg connects with the other guy's leg. And you go, wait a second, we're setting people up to have a certain decision here. You're not watching it in real time. It doesn't feel natural. So for me, this is an inherent problem with VAR. Some of the decisions are presented in a certain way, that they have a favour towards one outcome or the other. And I think that they've presented the information to the referee and said to him, this doesn't look that bad. It for me, it wasn't a foul, and the game's continued.
Final call, foul or no foul, Joe Linton?
Foul.
Josh?
I'm going off what I saw live, and I'm going to say no foul.
Well, we say foul. We win.
Oh, we've outvoted this.
but can I just say, for context, foul by the
Current
consistency of the game and the standards that we're currently in. If I made the rules, would I give it? No.
What I'm going to say as well is, right, if you're a defender in that position, now I'm not necessarily saying Gabriel is doing this, but I might be accusing him slightly of it. If you're a defender in that position and you might lose out on the ball, the first thing you're going to do is back into the striker and fall over. We see that happen all the time.
You have to.
He didn't back into it.
On the Gabriel situation, weak as piss, by the way. Like if we're really looking, because I've watched this back now, fucking God knows 20 times, because I'm like, and I keep watching it and going, I know Joe Linton and how strong he is, and he could have been way more domineering than what he was. And I thought Gabriel's really fucked that day. Like, he didn't handle that well at all. Like, just not even talking about the free kick or whatever it should have been to Arsenal. But I stand by what I've said. Arsenal fans, what do you think of the game in general? You were going to talk about the Bruno stuff, so let's get on to that.
What,
Yeah.
refereeing or
Yeah. We'll talk about the refereeing.
As I was saying a minute ago, the last refs who refed at St James's Park are now refereeing the Championship. I think you've got a clear situation where the refs are going, and I've heard Mike Dean in interviews say there are certain situations with VAR things where I didn't want to disagree with my man on the pitch because it's going to make it a difficult game. They specifically said about the game on Saturday that they didn't want the referee to lose the respect of the players. I'm sorry, but what are we talking about? This is.
So are you insinuating that there's favouritism towards Newcastle?
No. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that you've got people on the pitch who are getting affected by the crowd, who are getting affected by the noise, who are worried about the players respecting them, and you've got a VAR team in a van somewhere going, well, don't make him look like a mug, don't make him look like he's got it wrong. That's not what you're there for. You're there to have every camera angle to get it correct. And what drives me so mental with all of this, right, is we were sat around this table, 3-4 weeks ago, watching Liverpool versus Spurs. What happens? Liverpool absolutely robbed. And I know what's going to happen, right? You could clip up me speaking right now, clip all this up, stick it out, and it will go, Arsenal fan ranting and raving. You get all these people in the comments going, cry more Arsenal fan. And guess what? It will just happen to your club next week.
And
it will happen to Newcastle at some point. It will happen to Chelsea at some point.
Well, that was my point. What I was thinking was when I was watching the game, of course, Bruno was an idiot for what he did. Although there was low-key a bit of me that was like, yeah, you're like the modern-day Keane or you. Fucking elbow the prick. But, I don't think Bruno was actually going to hurt him in any way, but it was stupid in the modern game.
He'd lost his head, man.
Oh, it was a sending off.
He'd gone for a 2-footer before that, missed, and then gone with his arm.
It was a sending off. Absolutely not going to disagree with that. But equally, was Havertz also lucky to stay on the pitch? Like, let's just think about this, because anyone who wears the cue, I think there was a lot of narrative about how Arsenal were hard done by. I just thought the referee was shit. When I seen that Havertz tackle go in, and I was like, that's a sending off. That he really was about to fucking break a leg there if it wasn't half an inch to the right or whatever. And Newcastle get 3 players booked, and Havertz gets 1 booking.
Tactical foul.
Like, in my head, I'm like, how are we seeing a challenge like that where we're getting 3 bookings and then you book them for surrounding the referee? The goal goes in, Arsenal players surround the referee, not one of them booked. Like, there was just no consistency.
But this is what I'm talking about. This is why we should all be pissed off. And this is why we have to stop all of this, happened to you this week, it's your turn this week. We all have to, the only time that things change in football is when all fans come together. You remember the Super League? What happened with the Super League, right?
Yeah.
My club were in it. Arsenal were in the Super League. Chelsea were in the Super League. We could have all just stood there and gone, we're all right, no stress. We get to play Barcelona 3 times a season.
I did actually go back on Twitter and I had a look to see how many Arsenal fans were supporting their Liverpool friends, during that game that we watched, because it was actually quite a lot of silence. I don't remember any Arsenal fans. I don't remember a club statement from Arsenal back in Liverpool.
No, there's not a club statement. There's not going to be Josh. I'm talking about fans. You remember me saying on this show that I thought Liverpool were bang hard done by that. I said it on TalkSport as well. Point I'm trying to make is, as fans, you're saying it yourself, Brian, that the ref was crap. We pay more money than anyone else in Europe. We pay more money to watch this shit. We pay more money to attend this shit. If the chair, if you go to Chelsea next week and the seat doesn't work, you complain. If you go to Chelsea next week, you can't get any food. You go to Newcastle, you can't get a drink. Why are we still putting up with referees that can't do their jobs? This is the most expensive league in the world. We should be sat here right now talking about the best paid players in Europe. We should be talking about the best managers in Europe going through a tactical battle. We're talking about referees.
Well, the fact that we don't have the technology to know when the ball crosses the line blows my mind.
With all the camera angles as well.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing. It's not point scoring. Newcastle's not the problem, and neither Arsenal or not Liverpool or Chelsea. It's the referees. So if you have the best league, you need the best referees. And I don't know why they're reluctant to not go out there and get the best referees in the world.
They should tear it
because
down.
Go back to the World Cup. How many times were we talking about referees? We weren't, because there was the best quality referees, and there were very few referees that were in the Premier League.
Champions League, week in, week out. You watch Newcastle in Champions League. Did you notice refs being bad?
I don't think it's as bad. No,
it's nowhere near as bad. Again, Arsenal first time in Champions League for 8 years now. I'm watching it. I'm like, wow. I'm coming out of these games talking about football, talking about players. We're the mugs in all this. We like us fans, and we need to get over this whole tit for tat thing of going, has you. We need to all just say, tear it down, start again. It doesn't work. They're all each other's mates. They've got little nicknames for one another. They're all born within about 15 miles of Manchester. They all look the same. They all sound the same. It's an old boys club. Get them out, man. Seriously, get them out. Start again. Get some footballers in there.
They're not.
Get like actual diversity in there. Get people that look and sound a bit different. Stop having this old boys club. They're like fucking Freemasons. They've all got little names for each other. They all just get them out, man. They're lizards. No, I'm joking now. But,
You've been listening to David
Icke. Yeah. I am serious. Like honestly, enough is it? And at what point?
I think ex-players is a great point, by the way.
Just get loads of it. Like, just change it.
Yeah.
Just change it. We're talking right now about that push in the back. Referee, they've never experienced this.
Do you guys think Arteta and Arsenal have handled this well?
I don't think.
I think it was amazing.
I think you see the way after
he's
the
done
match
perfect.
that
You
he
said
spoke.
perfect.
I think perfectly, yeah. I think what Mikel Arteta was exactly what he should
You've
have
got to explain that.
He should have come out and said, what's he said wrong here? It's a disgrace.
But he literally didn't say
Because-
what you had a problem with. He literally
No,
wouldn't
because
go
he didn't
into
need to go
specifics.
into details because I think we can see the details are. I think if you asked him to actually break down detail by detail, if I was in a press conference tomorrow and asked him what was the problem, he'd give a whole explanation again.
I think he had his chance. He was in it.
He would have had a PowerPoint.
And
But after the game,
do you not
we're
think he
talking-
bottled it a bit?
We're talking just after the game. He's fuming because he feels his team's been hard done by. He's not going to have time to be logical to break it down. He's not going to have a PowerPoint
I think you're a
presentation.
professional manager who should be able to
I
be
think
logical.
what it is, no, he should be able to. But after the game, when you feel like you've worked so hard all week against a top side at Newcastle, you've gone to St James's Park, limited them to, I think, 0 shots on target in the first 60 minutes. Very good defensive performance. And the game's decided by a referee. Of course you're going to be fuming.
Okay,
So do you not look at the way Klopp did it, though? Do you not look at the way that Jurgen Klopp reacted when all of us sat round this table and went, mate, I can't wait to see Klopp. He's going to blow the top here. He comes on and he's actually so mature about it. And then, of course, after that, you hear of Liverpool saying, oh, we're going to appeal and things like that. But in that moment, he almost took the sting out of the situation as much as we would have liked to. He didn't give us that sort of soundbite moment. And actually, Arteta's then asked about that, isn't he? About the Jurgen Klopp thing. And he says, this is life. People are trying to do their best. I'm paraphrasing, but mistakes happen. You know what I mean? And obviously, within a month of that, once he's on the end of it, I get, mate, like I'm being a hypocrite. I would be hugely raging if that happened to me. But I do think, again, we're going on about lack of consistency in VAR. It's lack of consistency by Arteta with what you're saying there.
I think for Arteta, we've had a lot of this. We had one last year where Ivan Toney scored a goal, which was offside, but they forgot the angles. And that cost us a title, by the way. You know, that was a pivotal point that we lost out on there because of that. So I think Arteta's had similar scenarios in the past where he's been calm, collected. It was Odegaard foul at Old Trafford last year when Martinelli scored. Again, he was calm and collected. But this time was one too many. It was like, hang on a minute. Because you realise the quality of Newcastle. So you go to Newcastle, put in a good performance, and you get robbed by...
I think there's a sense of entitlement, right, where you have 3 different checks, which is unheard of, by the way. So we can't say that the officials weren't trying to look at every possible way that they could then take the goal away. They weren't trying to not do their job. They weren't fucking this off. They took it seriously. And I think that gave Arsenal a sense of entitlement, like one of these is going to come off. And in doing so, the expectation was there. And ultimately, it boiled down to, was it a push or not a push? It was clouded because of the amount of things that could have gone wrong that actually were not a factor.
Yeah.
And I think a massive reason for Arteta's frustration was he wasn't happy with the way the game went. And I think he knew that Man City are so hard to catch that every single point and goal matters. And I accept that there's a level of frustration there. But I think his frustration at the referees, a massive amount of that was also just at the situation he's in. And I think that you're venting at the referees, but you're massively overreacting because you guys had one shot on target. And this ain't the first time where you've gone away from home like Stamford Bridge and you haven't played your football. Jacob was sat there on the last Arsenal-Chelsea game frustrated because Arsenal aren't playing the type of football that they did consistently throughout last season. And I think that was also in his heart.
Yeah, I think it is in his heart, and I think he did sound like a manager who just lost 2 on the bounce because he lost against West Ham in the week as well. And I think that definitely plays into it. I think a little bit of him. He was. I agree with you. I think the performance was in his mind, and I think what he was actually trying to do was protect the players. We've sat here around this table before and spoke about Ten Hag and what he's doing at Man United, and the fact that maybe he should be protecting his players a little bit more. What Arteta is trying to do there is create a kind of Mourinho style, us against the world, siege mentality. It's not your fault, boys. It's the referees. Everything we've been working on this week, it worked. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I agree with that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
After the Chelsea game, I said the same thing. I'll say now, there's an issue with Arsenal's attack. And now we've got injuries. We've got players missing. We've got players who I think are still carrying injuries. Saka does not look right. There's a part of me that really worries with Arteta that what happened is at the end of last season when we threw away the title, right, and we lost some leads against Southampton, against West Ham, we got turned over by Brighton badly. I think something changed in Arteta. And I think the way that we're playing football now is very, very different. I think we're not seeing fullbacks commit in the way that they used to. We are not seeing our eights do what they used to do in terms of combining with the wingers. Martinelli and Saka look like they've got the hardest jobs in the Premier League at the moment. Every time they get the ball, they've got 3 players to beat. They're completely on their own. Saka used to have Ødegaard buzzing around him, Ben White going behind him. Now he looks on his own. Other side, Martinelli, Xhaka was really good at that little underlapping run to go past, take a fullback, create space for him. Zinchenko was there. This week, he didn't have that. I feel unjust. I feel like we've been done over. I feel like I've just sat here and said I think the whole PGMOL should be torn down and start again. I stand by that comment. I still can't pretend that up until that goal was given, I wasn't sat there watching that game going,
no, look, and I keep saying that we didn't deserve to win that game. I'm not saying we robbed of 3 points, but it was a draw at best. And I think most people who watched that game would have gone, there wasn't a clear winner here. I mean, we had one shot on target, you had 2. And one of those goals.
Who do you think was more likely to score, though? Like,
I'm not sure.
I'm not saying we didn't take our foot off the gas the minute the goal went in, but I think that we were the far more adventurous side coming into that second half. And I think, like, I'm agreeing with you on Arsenal,
changing
the philosophy. For me, in that first half, I remember thinking, wow, I've never felt so controlled by another side. You know, like, it's like being wrestled. Like,
it's like a boa constrictor.
You guys had a hold on us, and we couldn't do anything. But equally, you weren't doing shit yourselves. So you know when City do that to teams, like you say, the boa constrictor, they get a hold of you, but then they've got that potency and that attacking flair to kill you off. You guys didn't have that. And that's what let us out and let us off the hook. And then when we got in at half-time, credit to Eddie Howe, poured cold water on the hot-headed Bruno and that, and basically calmed things down, and we went more direct. But for Arteta to go to that next level, they need to be able to kill teams off when you've got us in that position. And let's not forget our injuries, by the way, which is far worse than Arsenal.
That's what I was going to say, but what really frustrates me is that we played you in April last season, and I've got to be honest with you, I kind of expected this to happen then. I remember going into that game, you had Isak playing, you were flying back then. Almiron was on his little scoring run. Came into this one, I was going, no, Jacob Murphy, no, Isak, okay, this looks all right. And at the same time, I was like, I kind of knew before the game, we are not going to score goals the way we did against you last time. We're not going to attack in the same way. There's no Jesus on the pitch. There was no Ødegaard on the pitch. They're probably 2 of our best attacking players alongside Saka. So there are little things like that. But it gets to a point where injuries stop being an excuse. Well, injuries an excuse.
Look at the Newcastle team. They didn't have their best defender. They didn't have their brand new central midfielder. They didn't have their best striker on the pitch. They had Dan Burn go off with a serious injury. Now he's going to be out for a long time as well. You know, he's out for a few weeks. He carried on playing, didn't he? But it's still pretty bad injury.
That's what I'm saying.
But to say, you know, our B team couldn't beat, you know, effectively your B team and Newcastle as well. Like, there's something wrong there. Like, if you can't beat Newcastle's B team as Arsenal, that's not good.
Our Newcastle's system is more drilled into the players, and we rely less on individual brilliance. Arteta, not that he's not a great coach, but he needs that. You know how
I don't think he's allowing individual brilliance. I think the issue for us right now is we are too controlled. So in that final third, it's not like Saka gets the ball instinctively. I want to go take him on. It's like, no, I've been told to pass the ball off, going behind, and I'm doing that. And it's too coordinated right now. And the reason behind that is because of fear. Because of what happened to us last year. We lost the league because of our defence. Too many goals conceded. So now we're trying to control each and every transition, and it's a bit too much.
It reminds me of the Grealish situation when he first came to City, where he was too controlled and you couldn't let him off the leash. And there's that balance, and you haven't found that balance this season.
Well, there's an elephant in the room that we're not acknowledging. It's Kai Havertz. There's a £65 million player who was supposed to come in and increase our attacking output.
How long has it taken, Joey? 2.5 months? 2.5 months.
No.
We knew it was coming.
Mate,
train's never late.
Do you know what's mad as well? There's so many Arsenal fans after that game going, that was his best game for Arsenal. He's finally clicking.
It was his best game.
He went from 2 out of 10 to 4 out of 10. But he went from 3 out of 10 to 5 out of 10.
Kai Havertz is not the problem.
You can't give him a trophy, mate. Kai Havertz wants to put. Like, let me tell you why he's the problem.
Come on,
mate. He's poor. Mate, first of all, he right. Do you remember the Liverpool game at Anfield last season? Yeah, you remember there was a point where we'd silenced them. We'd done the whole boa constrictor thing. It was going all right. And what does Arteta do? Because he's a young manager and he's a bit daft. It's the same reason he's shouting and hollering on TV at the moment. Is he goes over, gets in a push about with Klopp. They nearly have a roll around on the floor. What happens? The copper up. We lose the game. What happened at Newcastle this weekend? We spent 35 minutes. Calm it down. Just pass the ball. Don't lose the ball. Don't give him a chance. What happens then? Kai Havertz, he plays some stupid header which he misses. And by the way, the thing that drives me mental with him, the weird thing about Kai Havertz, when we don't have the ball, he's great. He's better than Xhaka defensively.
No, he
great.
is.
When he gets the ball and he's facing backwards, all good. Little layoff. Yeah, Martinelli scores against City. As soon as he faces forward,
but there's a
he looks
reason
like
behind
Dan
it.
You see
Burn.
the intensity for that foul he committed, which he could have got the red card for. Why can't you show up when you're on the ball?
Do you know why? Because he's a coward. Do you know?
No,
It's because
no.
that is a coward. No, I'm sorry.
No,
That is what
Let
you
me
do
defend
when
Kai
you've
for a
messed
second.
up.
Let Babs have
But the reason why I'm saying this is because it's your guys' fault, by the way, right? Chelsea's fault.
Oh, it would be our
Because-
fault.
Fucking
hell.
It's a right marriage,
The-
this,
the-
isn't it?
Yeah.
But jokes aside, I think the point I'm trying to make is his confidence has been taken out of him. If you watch him in the Bundesliga, he was taking players on instinctively. But now he's got a creative block because he's like, before I didn't used to think about this. I could take a player on now. He's gone to Chelsea, he had a bit of a bad form now. And now he's going, hang on a minute, I've got to be careful because if I make a mistake, you're waiting, he's waiting, he's waiting.
I'm
thing is not
sorry,
confidence.
man. I'm not having
It's
confidence.
not confidence.
280 grand a week. Give yourself some. Go and watch a bit of David Goggins. I'm not having that, man. Find your own confidence.
Look,
280. You're a
real
world class athlete. Find
The
some.
real problem
like
in Arsenal's attack is not Kai Havertz, is the fact that we can't get the ball into the middle. So Rice right now, or whatever his part is not playing, we don't get the ball in the middle of the pitch because teams are holding that part, defensively. Very blocked. That's what Newcastle did, or what Chelsea did as well. You block off the middle, that's why Arsenal can't play. That's why Odegaard's been worse, because there's no space there. Teams are giving us more respect. But we need to be more decisive than out wide. Get the ball out wide and try to make things happen.
Is there any chance that there was that element of surprise last season, though, and this season teams have just found
teams-
you out a little bit
I don't think
more?
it's found. I think they're offering more respect. So last year they'd be like, okay, no, we can't attack these guys because we're not scared of these guys. Now it's like, hang on a minute. If we go forwards, we saw it against Sevilla. We open them apart against, was it PSV and Champions League? We open you apart. If you give Arsenal space, we will rip you apart.
Babs, is Kai Havertz in your best 11?
In my best 11 for certain games, yes. That's
Hold
what
on,
we-
what
certain
sort of
games.
answer was that?
There was a caveat.
Not for certain
The
games.
reason why
Is he in the best
reason why-
11?
Look, we signed Kai Havertz and we played Man City twice and we beat Man City twice. And in both of those games, Havertz played a main part. The reason why we signed Havertz was because in those games, he gives us something different. Comes against Man City in the game at the Emirates and we start going long. And we scored a goal from going long, by the way. So the reason behind him is he gives Arsenal a different element. Is that worth £65 million? I don't think so. But that's what Arteta sees as something. I'm going, last year City had Haaland. He can go long to him. We had no one like that. Havertz was a player going, he can play in midfield. He can play out wide at times as well. He can play up front as well.
He can't play out wide.
Is this in the 7 stages of Kai Havertz? Is this denial?
This is denial.
Yeah.
I'm accepting.
No, you two
I'm
are
accepting.
I'm trying to find the logic behind it. And those 2 City games were games that he played pretty well in. And he gave us a different
Do
dimension.
you know what the
Without
honest truth
Havertz,
is?
we
When I
can't do
seen
that.
Kai Havertz and that starting lineup as depleted as Newcastle are, I thought.
I'll tell you
And
what,
do you know what?
Chelsea,
Sometimes you have to listen to opposition fans.
Yeah,
Chelsea have been starved of success recently, and we've had a couple of wins in the league. But the best win, without a doubt, any shadow of a doubt, we've had this season is getting 65 million for Kai Havertz.
We'll see.
And
No, we'll see.
honestly,
No, we'll see.
we will
We'll be
see.
there.
Here's the worry though: is
We'll
for Arteta in the long term. I rate the guy, and even after this week, he wants to win, and I understand why he's so fucking passionate, and that's why he's acting like a lunatic right now. But you will be judged not on your results alone. You will also be judged on your signings and all of that. And this is just one of those ones that the whole rest of the world thought, "What are you doing, mate?" And now 2 months in, everyone's going, "What were you doing?" Like he's not proven anything.
It's only the price tag, though, why you'd say that. Because if you tell me it's half the price, right, and you go, okay, you've signed a
Then
player...
half it again.
Then you've signed a player that could potentially kill 2-3 birds with one stone because he's so versatile positionally. And part of that comes down to everyone going, what is his best position? And, we could say what we want about that, maybe because he hasn't looked that good in any of them.
Yeah.
But I get it. If you go versatility, it's a smart signing, not for 65 mil. Especially, you guys use the comparison to us all the time about Mudryk when you go, yeah, we got Trossard for half the price. You got Havertz for double the price of Trossard. So
I think Arteta saw it as an opportunity. And I think it's not to do with this season specifically. And I think over the course of his Arsenal career, you will see it even out.
I've got a question then. For the end of that game, it really felt like that was a bitter blow to the title push. Do either of you feel like that result was the end of a title push, or is it
The
still on?
end of a title push.
Yeah. Like
We're just getting started.
Because of the way Arteta reacted, I thought
I agree.
You're feeling like this might be a real big blow here.
Mikel is definitely more emotional this season because he realizes last year was draining. We were there, nearly there, and we fell apart. So now he's trying extra hard to avoid that, be more defensive, more controlling, right? So he is a bit too emotional. But I also believe with the whole Havertz stuff as well, we've not seen Havertz in the best Arsenal 11. The reason why Arsenal were so good last year is because with a lot of players fit that were important to us. Jesus is injured right now, Odegaard's injured, Partey's injured. Once you have players come back like that, you'll see the likes of Havertz in a better system and hopefully perform at
Who drops out of that team? Like, so in your midfield, in your best 11 that plays Havertz, who is the other two? Who are the?
It's not my best 11 because you can't win every game with just the same 11. Sometimes Havertz is more suited, but in a game where we're defending more often, it might be someone else. But in a game where it's, a team at home, where like Burnley away,
you're like a politician.
So he's a rotation.
Can I answer?
By that logic, he is a rotation.
He's an option. That's the point. He's
a
65 million rotation.
A 65 million rotation.
Like at times, I'll compare him to someone. You might not agree with this, by the way. I think Arteta's idea for Havertz long term is for him to be our Alvarez, to play behind the striker as a secondary striker. That's what he is. He's a number 10, right?
Would you agree with that?
No, I'll be honest with you. I don't. What I see him at, I honestly think that Arteta thought he could bring him in and he could slot him where Xhaka was as a left.
No, I don't think so.
That's what he did on the first game of the season.
No, but the reason behind that was because again it was injuries. We had a right back injury, so Partey to play there, and you could play Rice there instead. If Rice and Partey are fit, that's why you got Rice now playing as an 8.
Okay. One last question. We're about to kick off now. Shout out everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Is that the end of the title push? Or are you still in the title race?
Yes, we're there. Of course we're there.
Still there?
Yeah.
Still there?
We're still in the title race for me. We're 3 points off City now, and I think ultimately, until if Spurs beat Chelsea today, for me, let's talk about this game quickly. If Spurs beat Chelsea today, this is the beginning of Spurs being a title contender for me. If they can beat Chelsea, then I will start taking them seriously. I don't think they're going to do that, and I think until that becomes the case, I think you have to look at Man City as the pacemaker. If you're 3 points behind the pacemaker, you're groovy.
Josh, you want to do the starting lineups?
Yeah,
so we can look at that?
I'd love to. Let's talk about Chelsea versus Spurs. So we'll start with the Chelsea team because, they're going to win. Sanchez, Carwell, Silva, Disasi and James on the right. He's back. Enzo and Caicedo as the holders. Gallagher, Sterling, Palmer, and then the surprise was Nicholas Jackson starting up front, which is an interesting one. Then you got Vicario, Porro on the right for Spurs, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie, who is back, Basuma, Sarr, Kulusevski, Maddison, Johnson, and Heung-min Song. So no Richarlison for Spurs.
You said Jackson was a surprise. Why?
I think purely because most of the fan base, at least that I see the opinions of, didn't really want Jackson to start in this match. I think you look at a few of our best performances recently. Arsenal, it came without Jackson starting on the pitch. You go back before that, Burnley, it came without Jackson starting on the pitch. Before that, Fulham, it came without Jackson starting on the pitch. And I've said this to you before. I said this to you after I came back pretty deflated from the match the other day against Brentford where we lost. Jackson was getting into the right areas for me, and the law of averages were telling me that if he carries on getting into those areas, eventually these chances were going to start being converted into goals. Recently, I think that the fact that he is on a goal drought and he's not been scoring is starting to sort of play on his mind a little bit and knock his confidence, and now I'm not even seeing him get into those areas. So I think it's a big match that's going to tell us whether or not...
Little bit of a scare early on. Yeah, we're underway. Chelsea were in behind almost.
This game is an interesting one, right? Because we in the past have had so many dominant performances against Spurs. We've won 9 out of the last 13 of these matches. And I have to say, I haven't gone into a game this nervous and I suppose this downbeat against Spurs in a very, very long time.
I'm surprised by that.
Why?
I think you suit them. I think the way that you play suits this kind of team. I think you press really well. I think you're a really, really difficult team to play through. I think Chelsea actually this season they're built to play against footballing teams, and I think if you're going to struggle against anyone, it is teams like Brentford who want to go direct. The reason I'm so surprised that Spurs haven't played Richarlison is that exact reason. I think if Spurs are going to get something out of this game, they have to go over the top of you. You've just seen there Conor Gallagher almost winning the ball in the Spurs box. If they try and play football through you, you're going to win the ball off them many, many times, create chances like that. If I was Spurs, I'd be looking at this and going, you know what, stick Richarlison maybe behind Reece James and just go direct. Honestly, I don't think it will be a really, really good team who managed to play football through this Chelsea team.
I think Richarlison has just been so just underwhelming this season. I watched them against Luton. Obviously, they just scraped that result. They got the 1-0 win. arguably probably shouldn't have won that game. Probably a draw was fairer. And I just thought Richarlison was just anonymous.
I do think he's a poor player. I mean, to be fair, they have just gone direct to Brennan Johnson on the left, and it's kind of worked that way. So maybe
he's quick and obviously their new signing. So yeah.
I do think that the Spurs under Conte, at this current moment in time where Chelsea would have beat Chelsea on this season's sort of showing. The Spurs under Mourinho would have done the same. The thing we're going to have massively going in our favour here is if Ange, which he won't do, but imagine he tried to set up in a low block and be defensive against Chelsea and go, well, that's the blueprint to beat them. They'd go, yeah, but those teams that have beat them aren't sitting nearly on the top of the league and could potentially go top of the league after tonight. So I think that if he tried to adopt those tactics and doesn't continue to play the way that Spurs have been playing this season and it then doesn't work, he'll come under heavy, heavy fire. So I think Spurs have got to do what they do. And I think that although they're a good side and it gives them a good opportunity to win, I think that probably, in a really weird, ironic sort of way, I'd fancy us more going into a match like this and a match against an Arsenal, a match against any team up the top than I would against a bottom half.
You got a bit of reaction to a first 11, joint 11 that you did?
It didn't go down too well, no.
You picked a lot of Chelsea players.
It was 7-4 in Chelsea's favour. On reflection, if I could do it again, I wouldn't change anything. No, I think I'd maybe look at
more Chelsea. I would have gone more Chelsea.
Would you?
Yeah.
So can you,
I would have gone
do the 11 quickly?
Yeah, so here's the 11. So, went Vicario in goal, went Reece James right back, then I went centre-back pairing of Thiago Silva and Levi Colwill, and then we went Udogie left back. The midfield three we went with was Caicedo, Enzo, Maddison. Then we had Son with Palmer one side and Sterling the other. So I think the main one you could say there is I think that some people would look at that and say one of Romero or Van der Ven has to be in that back line. But apart from that, I'm not really budging on
I think this season, just this season, you could maybe argue Bissouma for Enzo.
Yeah.
Maybe for Enzo.
Yeah, the ends.
Maybe for Enzo.
I mean,
he's had a bit of a quiet season. Bissouma's been one of the best midfielders
The
in the league.
debate, though, is people are going, Romero's got to be in because of his World Cup performances. And then you go, oh, yeah, but then Enzo shouldn't be in. Like, Enzo was absolutely immense in the World Cup. Absolutely
Romero was overrated
immense.
at the World Cup. It wasn't amazing.
There you go. But that's our point here, is that, like, for me, Thiago Silva gets in the team. Like he wouldn't be the one to drop out in the defence.
They would say Cole because he's been playing more of a left back than he is left centre back.
Okay, he's looked great, though.
No, he is, but he's playing as a
good.
left back, not a centre back. So I think who's their left centre is a Van der Ven. So you can see why they're on.
Yeah, okay.
Spurs early, and it's a save. It was offside as it happens, but they played through the lines pretty quickly there.
But look, I actually don't think. I know we banter about it, but I don't think that's that controversial. That like we maybe got one.
You did get a lot of.
Yeah, because they're looking at as Spurs are going, hang on, we're like they were first at that point. And you guys are what, 10th?
If we're basing it on form, obviously that's
that's
not
what that's what they're
not
Okay,
the
well, what
11,
about
yeah.
the
And
season
also-
when Spurs finished
No, I
second
agree.
and we had the 2-2 draw at the Battle of the Bridge? Are you telling me on that season you wouldn't have stuck Hazard in a Spurs team?
No, of
or you
course,
wouldn't
of
have
course.
so many of the players we've had? It doesn't.
The thing with Spurs fans is, and I've seen it as an Arsenal fan, is they get carried away very quickly. No, they do. And I saw it a couple of years ago, and obviously on the Conte, they had little highs. Like, hang on, no, everyone's now better than Arsenal. And eventually it'll catch up to them.
My favourite for that is Man United fans these days, because I remember Man United fans. God bless you, because you bring a lot of traction. I appreciate you, but obviously I'm used to Man United fans dominating 3 years titles back to back. Now they'll play horrendously, and then they'll beat like the worst club in the league, and all of a sudden I'll see their Twitter is just blowing up about how great they're playing for one game. Harry Maguire, he's back. I love it.
Nah, don't even. There's a lovely pass from Maddison.
It's a goal!
Lovely
It's
pass.
a
1-0
massive
Spurs!
deflection. Massive.
No,
It's
you
just
have-
deflection
Chelsea
off a
mudded.
Chelsea hand.
It was a great goal from Spurs because they brought you onto them and they killed you with a lovely pass. It
Mate,
was Maddison
they've
to
played
get the
through
line.
Chelsea
Yeah.
twice already in
Cut
quick
through the bottom.
succession.
Yeah.
That Son chance was like 2 seconds before this.
Chelsea are not giving Spurs
Chelsea
respect.
need to be fucking switched on. Yeah, it's 5 fucking minutes into the game.
Yeah, there was not.
Jesus.
They pressed very highly without anticipating. Hang on a minute.
Let's
Give
go to our
Kulusevski space.
Chelsea boys. How you? All right.
I would say, I know it might be early to say this,
A
but
lovely-
I would say
what
game
a
over.
pass.
Jesus
James
Christ, the
Maddison.
space on that left back position.
No respect.
Far too much space. Stand them up.
No respect.
Oh my God, too easy. Do you know what? Too much space. Joey, what are you saying about this,
Guys
mate?
got too excited.
Nothing's won and lost after 5 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
But it don't look good. We got cut open. We got cut open twice there as well, and obviously that's a big
Yeah,
deflection,
like
and
so
it can obviously happen.
So unlucky.
But
It's just too much space to be getting early on.
the
Like
fact they had like a 5v4 in the final third,
Yeah.
one pass was like that shows to me
But he-
Chelsea weren't respecting.
he was allowed to run so much
yeah.
there, like stand him up.
Kulusevski. The reason behind that is because there was players in the middle though.
And it's again, like,
Yeah.
there's more space again. Like Spurs are in the final third again, and there's more trouble here. Back post. Jesus, man, Chelsea need to switch the fuck on. This
And
could
the
be
thing
embarrassing.
Is, this could play in Spurs' hands now because now Chelsea have to go for it.
Yeah, this
You
suits
can't-
Chelsea.
You can't now sit.
We weren't ever going to sit in this game. We're not really a sitting team.
Oh my God, fucking hell! Spurs another shot. It could be two.
Sterling on that left-hand side isn't tracking. That's a big problem.
What
Mate,
a
Sterling on
fucking
that left.
new?
surprise.
What's
What
new?
a surprise.
Mate, that guy, he got caught out not tracking back.
think
Who was that against, Josh, recently?
To be honest with you, every single game this
But this is what surprised me about him. He doesn't seem like a Poch player. He doesn't have the legs to play wide for Poch. Like when you've got Mudryk on the bench, who's got those legs to recover.
There we
But
go.
that's-
Lovely little turn
This is
from
the
Palmer.
Palmer's very
He's in-
good.
oh.
I do think this may be Sterling's last season for Chelsea.
He's earning like 300k a week.
Bro, Saudi Arabia will
Saudi
be coming.
will-
MLS, man, MLS.
Yeah.
One of them.
I tell you what, it's a real kind of it's a lesson to be learned for clubs who've got like exciting young wingers. Arsenal. Sterling was played a lot. When he was about 18, 19 for Liverpool, he's played an awful lot of football, and he's not even 30 yet, and we're talking about Saudi Arabia and MLS.
Do you not think, though, the reality, and I've been on this for years, everyone called me a Sterling hater, but I don't hate the guy, don't know him. But what I will say is, I thought he was massively protected by the way Man City played. He was hoovering up 5 chances a game and missing 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
But the numbers were fantastic because of that control and dominance City had. But I think they were massively inflated. And at a club like Chelsea, who, as much as they're struggling now, have got some very, very good players. You, as their highest paid player, most senior player, most capped player who's achieved most in the squad, arguably, should be the talisman.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely been exposed, in my opinion. And even if he goes on and has a hat-trick in this game, he has been exposed for not being as good as people thought he was. Like, the numbers at City are not reflected in any other part of his career.
The key thing isn't necessarily even about the quality, goals, assists, whatever. It's about leading, as you say, by example. And he just never does that.
He should be a captain.
He never does that. And it was really annoying the other day. There's been some contrary reports about this, but there was a penalty incident that we had. Was it against? Was it Burnley?
No, it's against Arsenal when he was trying to take the ball.
And that's just like stupid
What, him and
mentality.
Cole Palmer
He's trying to take the ball off Cole Palmer, who slotted a very good penalty against Burnley. You know, looks very good. His confidence is all over the place. You know, it's brilliant. It's really, really good. And then Sterling's there going, "Oh no, I want the penalty." It's so childish from a man who's meant to be our
makes it a
leader.
lose-lose situation all of a sudden, because all of a sudden you know that you created controversy if Cole Palmer misses that penalty. It's the same way when they flash to Ramsdale, who's on the bench when Raya makes a mistake. If he sits there and he's got a face like a slapped arse all of a sudden, you know that that's going to create a bit of a media
it's
storm.
the opposite of leadership.
Exactly. So when Sterling does stuff like that, it's just like, mate, come on. And as well, exactly what you say there, you haven't been the talisman enough to be able to demand taking that penalty. And I actually do think if you asked 43,000 people inside Stamford Bridge, all 43,000 are saying we'd rather have Cole Palmer taking that one.
Well, mate, the guy's finishing is notoriously shocking. But look, again, tracking back, effort, things like that.
Right, come on, Jackson.
That's a bare minimum for a player on 350. Is it 350?
It's up.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
definitely a north.
It's a hell of a lot of money a week, and I've always been harsh on him because I never seen what other people seen in his general play, and I've seen him missing countless opportunities. But at a Chelsea, you don't get all those opportunities, and you need to be sticking them away.
I think he's like one of those. I do liken him to the Bruno-esque type of player where he will turn up against the easy teams, but when it comes down to the big games, he's never there.
Do you know the saddest thing is? He's nowhere near Bruno at the moment. Like,
Oh no, I'm
Yeah,
not saying he's Bruno quality. I'm just saying he's a
but
baller in
At
the
one
big games.
point, I'd agree. But even now, I don't think he realizes, like, bro, your stock is falling rapidly
Yeah,
in the world of football.
Here we go.
And actually, he might be lucky to get a move.
Here we go.
he's
You've
just-
got to convert this. You've got to put this in.
No,
you.
Idiot!
No.
Idiot!
No, I can't give
Straight idiot. No, you can. You can. He should have passed it.
No, he did very well.
Don't
Why can't he hit it
Guys,
on his left
guys,
foot when he goes through on goal?
don't apologise about Jackson.
Yeah, he did.
Why
Yeah,
can't you
yeah,
hit it
yeah.
low
Easy.
there
Play.
on your left foot when you go through on goal?
Play it
You're
to
a striker.
Gallagher.
You've got to be able to shoot with both feet, man.
You can see
know
why
what
we
I don't get why you lot. It's a brilliant save, but I
No,
don't get
he's
why
not
you lot
well
are even
back.
sticking up from
I'm
there.
the king of XG, right? This guy fucking hands it out
You heard
like
it here
sweets,
first, guys.
sweets
The
and
king of
Halloween.
XG.
Do you know what scored that? Kai Havertz.
Fuck off.
Babs. Come on, man.
Absolute.
Babs is really here to rub salt in the
love it.
wound.
Champions League
Damn.
final. Who scored?
I was here, Babs, on a kickoff show where Havertz missed like a gilt edge, like an open goal, and I remember that moment.
Not
he
today,
was,
motherfucker.
He was bad.
Not
No,
today.
but hang
He
on.
was bad.
Champions League final. If that was Jackson, you would have missed it.
Yeah, Babs shows violence today.
I'm just-
We've got. Look, I've personally, I've been a critic of Jackson from early on because he was having a few rough games on the kickoff when we covered it. And recently I've been completely like, nah, this kid's never going to make it. But I actually thought he handled that okay. That was all right.
Yeah, I
But,
think
but
they-
then that's
Are
the
you-
problem, Brian. He does. He does sometimes handle these things okay. He does get into positions when you go, cool, he done well to get there. It's all well and good doing well to get there. You've got to convert.
Wait a second.
You're right.
If Callum Wilson or Isak was in that position and they missed the goal, Brian, you would be doing your nuts.
Well, they wouldn't have missed
They
it.
wouldn't have missed it. They wouldn't have missed it.
Exactly.
Why did you go for Wilson? Callum Wilson.
Why didn't we go for him? Because he was made of glass.
My Callum Wilson thing, like, I'll never understand how the fuck Callum Wilson ended up playing for a Steve Bruce club.
If he played for Chelsea, he would be injured
Oh,
for
no,
at
no,
least
no.
80%
I
of the
don't,
time.
I'm not having that.
But
At
can I,
least
can I
they-
also
Spurs on the
say-
attack. It's in! 2-0!
He's offside,
Chelsea are in
He's
shock!
offside. He's offside.
Is he outside?
He's offside.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he's offside.
Jesus
They're
Christ.
cutting you
Thank
apart.
You know.
The Lord.
They're cutting you apart.
Mate, this is too easy. I can't believe it. Mate, I can't believe how easy Spurs are having this.
They're cutting
Was
you
this
apart.
offside?
That
Was it the
part.
first
Yeah,
one?
he's well off.
Yeah.
He's well off. And the other one's offside.
And then
yeah.
Son was off again.
Son.
Yeah, he's
Ma-
offside as
I
well.
got to say,
Damn, son.
it was offside, but that was.
They're cutting you
that
apart.
I
was
don't know.
that
I don't know if that second one is offside at all. I think
The first one was.
First one just about.
Mate, like every decision in the Premier League, it's cumulative. So if there are three different
there might be
parts that
three-
are
there might
wrong,
be three
then
checks,
it's a penalty. You know.
There might be three checks.
Would anyone like a drink? Anyone? Beer?
I think I better
Beer,
take
anyone?
one, yeah.
Beer?
Hey,
Beer?
they're
And-
checking. It might be close, because another might be offside.
We got a VAR check.
I'm not sure that's off.
Ooh.
It
Nah,
looks
nah,
just offside.
He's off.
Mind you,
Get the
man.
lines.
We're talking millimetres.
I'm
aren't
not
we?
Mind
sure
you,
that's
Spurs have
We're
had
talking
some lucky
millimetres.
decisions recently.
No. Look
Bro,
at
that's
this.
millimetres.
It is, but he's off.
I'm not sure.
I'm
Mate,
not sure about this.
that is.
Was the
said- I
first
said-
one off or not?
Yeah, it's on. They're checking.
As in they're checking the second.
That's an and stick off. That can't be much.
I
It's
said straight
tiny.
away. I don't think that's off.
Please, come on, man.
Mate, 2-0 in 14 minutes would be an absolute.
What's going on here?
Other-
Oh, this is the other
other
angle. Okay,
Yeah,
right.
that's why I think it looks off.
Okay.
Do you know what? If we're
What is going on?
If we're going by
You can't
foot
see the
position.
foot, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm so bored of VAR. I'm so bored of it.
Can't see the foot.
I miss football. I'm sorry I'm getting old, but I
If
miss
this was a
football the way
goal
it
to
was.
Chelsea right now, I don't know how bored you'd be.
But do you know what though? When there were years when we wanted this. Let's be honest. There were years we
were.
wanted it. It wasn't for
No, but
this.
hang on now.
Yeah, but
It
we
weren't
didn't
for
know it was
Champions
going to be
League,
this
No,
the
good.
Champions
exactly.
League is literally doing this automatically.
That's what I was saying.
It's
In the
super
Champions
quick.
League,
It
like-
happens straight away.
Offside. Knew it.
It's offside
Do it.
by a millimetre.
Yeah.
See, yeah.
By a
And
hair.
Chelsea,
Actually, VAR, I would've known.
Chelsea should find themselves very lucky right now, lads. I mean, are you worried because you're getting cut up in it?
I don't,
was
I
worried
don't,
before
I don't
the
think
game.
we're lucky to not have the goal go against us. But at the end of the day, look what they've just done. Look what they've done a couple of times
I mean,
in this game so far.
let's be honest though, Joey. We should be 1-1. We should be 1-1 here.
No, I'll tell you one thing though. On the first 15 minutes or so, I'm not ruling out the chance that we score in this match.
No,
I
there's gonna be goals in it.
I actually think it's very likely we get a goal in this match. I just think that the way Tottenham are cutting through us, we've got to try and get to half-time and then hope we get some
Fuck me.
instruction.
Nah, we need to get a goal before half time. If we don't score before half time, it's over.
So if I offer you right now that it stays at 1-0 for half time, you wouldn't take that.
No, I wouldn't because
Because
we
honestly,
won't
that,
score in the second half.
we
won't score in the second
we
half.
were a toenail away from 2-0 there.
Yeah.
Do you know what the difference is? The difference is Son.
Yeah.
That's the difference between these two teams.
He is an elite finisher. He
I don't know.
finishes
Like
30%
I
of his
agree with
chances.
you. Son is a massive difference maker, but the disorganisation of Chelsea in the back.
I don't think you're giving Spurs enough credit.
The back four is worrying.
I think that with the confidence they're playing right now, everything Spurs get the ball, it's decisive. I know what I'm beating. I know the pass I'm making. This is like Arsenal last season, like that. Everything's
do
like,
you know what? That's the thing of that. That's what worried me in the summer, and I mentioned this a lot early on. Is I completely understand the logic of Chelsea doing a huge shuffle because players want out. A lot of players don't want to stay. Bad eggs, like similar to Man United's problem right now. But equally, when you have this many new people come in who don't know each other, it's easier to take over a club of players who know each other for a manager, like Big Ange did, like Eddie Howe did, like Unai Emery did, and add a few more, than to do a whole fucking new squad. Like, Poch has his work cut out, big time.
Yeah, there's no connection. There's no like.
Yeah, they don't fucking know each other.
Well, and also the bits that he doesn't want, like your Sterlings, they're on huge
Massive.
contracts.
Mega.
They're not easy to shift. I mean, what I was saying with it when I was saying that the difference is Son is like we've seen Chelsea cut through this Spurs team a minute ago. We've seen Jackson get the ball in the box. If he has a left foot, he scores that goal. I think with the quality that they've got in midfield, Chelsea, they will get through. And that Spurs defence is not perfect. You just have to hope that whoever gets the ball in the box can actually stick it away.
The reason why I'm not as confident is because we see what happens when Chelsea go a goal down, and it's not good.
What is that?
We
Describe that.
basically start panicking. And we start not doing the simple things very well. We stop doing the easy passes, and we start trying to sort of like play silly balls that sort of end up going over. We sort of clam up in front of goal. We miss very easy chances. And I just think, I mean this, if we don't get a goal before half time, it's over.
And we don't have the
More
character
problems
to pull our
for
way
Chelsea?
back into these matches at the moment. And that's the problem. It's all well and good buying all these young players and having a team for the future, but at some point you need someone for the present. And we have, or for the present, I should say. And we don't have anyone at this moment in time that we can go, yeah, he'll pop up in a big moment. Man United are playing awful at the minute.
Yellow card.
Was that a yellow?
We're going to have a debate here of whether this is a yellow or more, or because it looked like it was a 2-footed challenge.
Did it? It looked like a coming together for me.
No, look,
Where I think Raheem, was it Sterling who was rolling around?
It was Sterling, yeah.
He seems fine now, but let's have a look at it in slow-mo.
So you think he went in 2-footed here, bro?
It looked it on the... it was hard to see.
It looks like he wins the ball.
The thing
got
is,
ball
I
to
don't
me.
think he's completely off his feet where he gets the ball. You see here,
It was 2-footed.
If he had connected with him,
but
you're
Hey.
right. You're right.
That-
Hey,
You
I
saw
don't
it.
need specs
You
here,
got a
mate.
good
I
eye.
tell you what, I
that
tell
is
you
dangerous
what.
play though.
He-
If they-
he-
no,
mate,
honestly, I think
mate,
he might
yeah,
go.
he's off.
This is a red card
off.
in the modern era.
He makes contact.
We
He makes
still-
contact with Sterling's left foot.
not even the contact part,
Ironically,
it's
it
dangerous
was
play.
actually a great tackle in terms of he took the ball cleanly, but
Dangerous
in
play.
the modern era, dangerous play, you might say a sending off.
I think when they say if it's 2 feet off the floor, it's out of control.
Mate, this could turn the whole fucking
Yeah,
game.
no, he's off. He's off. I think he's
Nah.
off. No, he's
He's
off.
gone, man.
He's off.
I
If he
think
had
he makes
properly
contact.
connected, if he had properly connected,
It's
it,
not
I
like
agree.
connection. We had someone with Xhaka a couple years
Mate.
ago against City. He didn't
I
touch
think
the player.
he made contact.
But when
Look
both
at that. You
feet
can
come off
see.
the floor,
You can see Sterling's left foot.
They've not given.
I am
He's a
surprised.
lucky boy
Very,
there.
very.
He's a
you know when
lucky
you?
boy.
I mean, I was complaining about the Longstaff tackle that he got on off Havertz.
That
Was well
That was a
more
lot worse.
dangerous.
That was a lot worse.
That's a leg breaker.
no, they got lucky there. Very lucky there.
Mate, you know the stereotypical 2-footed off the floor,
Off the floor,
going
not
in,
the
studs up.
Yeah,
like
studs up, I was
every
gonna say.
every box you need to tick outside of breaking the lad's leg, like that's what.
It is-
Sorry, I'm just
that
watching
is
Sanchez
yeah.
just give the ball away again.
That is a
That's
definition
why I'm-
of endangering opponent.
Yeah.
Because you're out of control. in
Mate,
the air
if he
for-
fucking did that to one of my players and you're out there, you're like, you fucking little prick.
I think all it takes is a bit more contact with his foot,
But
dangling
what's
foot,
the
and then he's
message
off.
there?
That's the thing. Yeah, but this
that's
happens.
what winds me up.
Yeah.
What's the message there? You can kick him a bit, but not too much. What are we talking about?
That's-
fine
that's
as long
the
as
way-
you don't
has to be-
actually.
it has to be a hard rule
out
if you
of
can't
control,
come off
yeah.
your feet with your studs up, otherwise you break someone's
Yeah.
leg.
Both
I
off
thought
the
it
floor.
pretty much was that. Like,
That's-
and
no, that's
also
what it was.
it wasn't like it was 2-footed, like flying into it. Like it wasn't even like
Yeah.
to the side, or it was a
And when you look at
stereotypical.
the runner play there, it's like, because Chelsea are breaking on you
Yeah.
there as well. So it's like
Yeah.
even more decisive.
It
Not
was
that-
a-
Can I ask you a question as Chelsea fans? Are you wound up watching that your players weren't around the referee there? Or are you wound up that they weren't around Sterling checking he's all right? Look, there is just a part of me, I'm not trying to create a narrative here, but you've spoken already about Sterling trying to take the ball away from Cole Palmer. I would just suggest the fact, if that's Cole Palmer gets 2 feet, Rashford there. I think your players might be a bit more
I
fed
think
up.
he's well liked actually within the squad, Sterling. He doesn't he seems to get on with a lot of
Great
people.
play.
So I don't think there is a narrative
No,
there.
I think
but
there's a
like,
lack of-
around the referee, 100%.
There's a lack of
What a
shithousery.
pass.
Yeah, I agree.
After watching the match the other night, I'm certainly not surprised an Arsenal fan would suggest it
Go on,
because
Sterling.
fucking hell. Arsenal.
Go on.
Oh,
Go on.
Come on, he's rubbish! Take him off! He's been rubbish. He can't do it against the big teams.
That boy is fucking world class.
Get him off the pitch! He can't do it.
So that's what he's paid for.
So Spurs would have
Now we're talking.
Oh,
By
well,
the way, I'm
there.
going to pass it out.
We've got two players on the floor.
There'll be a few checks. But
Romero
this is another half though. Like,
is down.
How many checks are we doing, Babs? 3?
I'm predicting I expected.
This is the
Expect
NFL now,
goodness.
isn't it? It's the
Expected
NFL,
checks.
this shit.
Wait, this Reece James, is it a Reece James pass?
Nice, Levi Colwell
Reece
with a
James
shoulder
pass.
bar.
What a
Sure, I
pass.
No,
don't know.
it's
What
this.
a pass.
Dirty.
Yeah.
What a pass.
And Jacob, you were laughing that he wasn't going to get a goal.
Who's
You were
that?
laughing at Joey saying that Reece
You
James
were
wasn't
sat
gonna
there
get
He
a
hasn't
goal.
got a goal. He hasn't got a goal.
No,
He got
no,
an assist.
Arsenal handball.
Right.
I think
Can I just say one thing here?
They're gonna
I'm
check
very,
handball.
very worried about us actually given this goal.
Why?
handball here. Yeah, no.
Oh, it is a handball from Raheem Sterling
Oh, he
before he
doesn't mean
scores.
it. It's non-intentional. Let's
We're not-
just
Hey,
get on.
it's an
They're
absolute
true.
handball, that.
They're chalking
How many
this off.
checks
Yeah,
do we
I'm
have
sorry,
to
lads.
do?
There's 3 checks.
I'm sorry, lad.
Guys, I'm still
You
agreeing.
should have known when Raheem Sterling scored, this can't really be a...
Fuck VAR.
It was too good to be true.
If it's not against Luton, it's not standing, I'm afraid. That's not... This is when Raheem Sterling turns
But at
up.
least you got your celebration. Then.
Yeah, I mean, I went for it, mate. And do you know what? I'd do it all over again.
Oh, mate, there's no way they're giving this.
No.
Surely it's a handball.
When they pause it,
Yeah.
on
I
the
don't
hand.
even... I'd rather it be given as a goal. I'm not trying to be a dick
Yeah,
here.
I think so.
I want an entertaining game.
They're
But,
not-
but it literally hits him there, man.
I
It's
think
not
it
like...
is.
His arm's not by his side.
Yeah.
If they give that, that's
If he doesn't
massively-
control that with his hand, the goal doesn't go in.
Wait.
Because he literally moves it towards the goal.
Wait,
so
is this basketball or is this football?
yeah, it's literally... Unfortunately, like, it has a massive impact on whether or not he scores the goal, and that's why they're going to have to chalk it off.
Yeah.
It felt good though, didn't it?
It felt
nice.
great. It felt
Is that
brilliant.
right?
Yeah,
It's
no,
good.
it's, yeah.
Why is
Goal.
he gonna check it?
Ah, he's giving the handball. Oh, brilliant.
I thought he was gonna.
1-0.
Brilliant.
Sorry, lads.
Brilliant.
Sorry.
Well, it was a dress rehearsal for when he scored
Yeah.
later on.
Let's all strap
That was
back
a
in.
great example though, of you getting the ball out wide. First time to Reece James out to Sterling.
Hey, I have to say, right, as a neutral, this has been fucking great.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
been fantastic. It's
been good.
This is what Premier League football
It's
should
because like,
be.
there's 2 teams at a similar standard. I don't think there's one clear. I know Spurs playing better.
How mad is that? You got 12 versus first.
Yeah,
Similar
and
standard.
Babs, we got loads of shit, by the way, for saying,
but-
that it's
no, but
7-4
yeah.
in Chelsea's favour.
But with Spurs,
When you're
like,
saying it's a similar standard.
If you're a Spurs fan, you're going, we're first, we're the best team in the world, kind of thing. That's what it is, isn't it? It's a bit of delusion when you're top of the league. I know how that feels.
Fair, you saved it there.
I mean, that wasn't a foul. That was 50-50, the shoulder.
Yeah, that
touch.
was.
No, that wasn't a foul.
Yeah, it's very, like a Joe Linton thing.
What's going on here now? Are we looking at a kick out here?
No.
Yeah, there was.
No,
a
no,
kick
no,
out.
look.
Yeah, you'll see.
It's Romero.
Someone kicked someone. There
Yeah.
you go.
No.
Oh, send him off.
I'd have him off.
That was worse
I'd
than the
have him
David
off.
Beckham one.
That was bad.
That was worse than the David Beckham one.
That was bad.
This guy's a boxer. And he's like,
Simeone is rolling around on the floor. If that was it.
If you made a bigger deal out of that, I think you
This
might
is fucking. This has been box office.
It's
I've
been
been
great.
loving this.
These are always good games, these Chelsea Spurs
the problem
games,
is
aren't they?
every big Chelsea match is box office, but we don't come away with a win in the end. That's the problem.
This is kind of reminding me, ironically, of the Pochettino era of Spurs Chelsea when he was Spurs manager.
Yeah.
Because the tackles are
Both
fucking
teams
flying.
don't want to sit back; they want to go forwards.
Yeah.
There's
Let's
no
not talk about the eye
there's
gouging
nothing
that went on in that
the
game.
Arsenal
Yeah.
It was always going to be fiery though. This fixture has
thing is-
always had that.
even the Chelsea have got a better defense. I don't think either team can rely upon their defense, so they
Nah.
have to go forwards.
The pressing from both teams is probably like
Yeah,
the
it's
best
ridiculous.
strength that they have. So
But there'll be a point in this game where both teams will be knackered,
yeah, agreed.
and it'll be,
Agreed.
that's when it's hilarious.
Well,
Who's
who's
got
on
the better bench?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so who do you think your sub's coming
Mudryk
on?
will come on and he'll make a difference for sure.
Corner.
We've got Noni Madueke, arguably they may say a Spurs reject that could come on
Yeah,
and have a bit of narrative there.
Is he the rapper? There's some.
There's some rumours there.
No,
I don't think it's
the
him.
masked rapper.
don't
Yeah,
think
I
it's
seen
him.
someone on the Twitter. being like, oh, he's the master
No,
rapper.
I
Don't
think
think
for me that sounds like Johnny Evans.
Fuck's sake.
Weren't they saying it was his?
Zaha, isn't it?
I heard Nketiah.
Oh,
I heard
really?
Nketiah.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, he's a good rapper. Like he's
He knows what
It's
he's doing.
definitely not a Wobie. 'Cause I've heard him rap and he's awful.
yeah.
Oh.
Let's have a foul then.
We got a free kick to Chelsea here in the final
now we're
third.
seeing a part of why Spurs won't fight for a title because they are open. You can open up easy as well. Like in the Arsenal-Newcastle game, it was very hard for each team to break each other apart. Spurs are very open.
Do you know what?
They're
Though?
very open.
To bring that back to what we were talking about earlier with Arsenal, if you're offering me one or the other, and this is maybe me being a fan rather than a coach, but I'd rather have what Spurs are doing, which is they've nearly scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
It's more like you last season.
It's more like us last, and it's also it reminds me to use another boxing analogy. It reminds me of the the Kronk gym, right? Their mantra is the safest way to fight is to knock your opponent out because if you knock them out, they can't knock you out. And like watching Arsenal at the weekend and this whole we should have got a point. It should have been
your
0-0.
Klitschko now.
But it's that thing of going like you leave yourself vulnerable.
Come on.
Oh, jeez. What an awful
Chelsea
shot.
have had a few.
We have
efforts
been, I have to
defending.
say, in the last 10 minutes, we've been all over them.
Yeah, there's a goal coming.
You're getting
There
through.
is a goal
You're getting through. You just need a finisher. I mean, I'm so. I don't want to say excited. I'm not excited about it, but I'm interested. I'm interested to see what happens when Nkunku comes in.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'd be looking at false 9 for him at the moment. Honestly,
Yeah,
he's
I
played there a
agree,
lot
I
in the
agree.
past, and
I agree.
honestly, he knows where the goal is better.
I
than
think
Jackson.
Chelsea's best performances
Oh,
were with
again.
a false 9 as well when Gallagher played there.
Yeah.
See, this is what we saw against Arsenal. Spurs, when you press them, they will lose the ball. And if Jesus took his chance, it would have been game over in the Arsenal game as well. So,
I'm feeling a lot more confident on the
Yeah, look at
last
that.
10 minutes. I'm looking at how things
Wow.
are going. Last 10 minutes, we're having shots at goal. We're creating chances, and I do think we've a little bit taken the sting or the sell out of Spurs' wins. But we've seen how they've cut us open
I'm
before.
telling you,
Here we
Turn,
go.
shoot,
telling you.
Shoot!
Now, Sterling.
Surely, terrible touch from
Red!
Sterling.
Sterling! Touch.
Oh, that
Oh
was
my God,
piss
this is a
poor,
joke.
wasn't it?
He's still rolling around on the floor.
Oh, yes!
Take that one away from us! Come on!
Oh, no! It's offside! Oh, my God, how is it offside? Oh, my God, you couldn't write this up.
Clip it.
I'm so sorry, lads.
Take that one
Take
away
this
from us.
one off us!
He said...
We'll have the penalty then. We'll have the penalty.
Can we all just acknowledge? Josh just said, take that
Take it
away
away from us.
from us.
And they did.
And they did. I'm so
Fuck
sorry,
my
son.
life. Fuck my life.
how did
We'll have
that
the penalty. We'll have the penalty.
What happened? Why have they taken this away?
Interfere play?
What? What?
Yeah,
Caicedo?
Oh, no, the
Sterling.
player's in the way of the keeper and it must hit him on the way in.
Caicedo? No, it doesn't hit him.
Doesn't hit anyone. Completely.
That's the goal.
He's on side.
No. We'll VAR it.
Oh,
We'll VAR it, lads.
my
We'll VAR
God.
it.
Oh, my God.
Look at that swipe.
I know.
Watch this. This is a penalty here.
Does it hit him?
That's a red card.
That's a red
Mate.
card.
Another one.
By the way, this is a handball, I think,
Guys.
Madison. Nearly.
Oh my God! Honestly, how many checks do we need to do here?
But this is
Oh,
what
I'm
I'm
so
saying.
bored
The
of it.
games
I'm
are being
bored of
so
it.
over
Are they checking this right now?
They're going to check all of these
they're
things.
not, they're not.
They're going to check
They
all of these.
fucking wanna
That's
be.
a
That's
joke.
a red card.
Cheating.
That's a red card.
That is. It's against his mate as well. That's not on.
We're going
What?
to VAR.
But what's it?
Fuck
What?
Yeah, but then look at
He's
the
not
fucking
offside.
penalty.
No, they're saying it's Eunice Island, not the keeper.
Oh,
That's
come
what
on.
it is.
Honestly,
That's
just
what I'm
football is
thinking.
not the same as it was anymore, is it?
2 perfectly
Like-
good goals disallowed. Sterling didn't mean that of his hand. This
Yeah.
one's nowhere near his vision.
Yeah, this is it's just
Right,
just
let's just replay the fucking game, lads. Let's replay the game.
All right,
Let's
but-
call it now.
Yes,
Let's
Klopp.
call it now.
But would you not rather Son's goal was given and this one was given? Like this.
I mean, I'd rather our two get
No,
given.
No, I know what you're
yeah.
saying, but the handball's a different thing. Do you know what I mean? But it's just like we're over-reffing this
He's
stuff.
onside.
Why
Hold
is
on.
the game? Bear in mind all the
He's
way.
onside, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. He's
but
onside.
if what is mental about this is, then they're going to have to go back and look at the penalty because it was a penalty before this.
No, but he's onside. But would you
Romero shouldn't
would
be on
you
the
rather
pitch.
have the goal or the penalty?
I'd
red
honestly,
card?
I'd rather have the goal. To be fair,
I'd rather have the
I'd
goal.
rather have the goal.
Or do you not
Well,
trust?
penalty and red
card-
card.
We
shit
Get Romero off
against-
The
the
we
red
shit
card
against
should be a
10
red
men.
card
We-
regardless of
yeah.
red
this.
card should be a red card regardless.
if
He's
that's the
nearly
red
broken
card.
his ankle.
I'd say penalty.
What is mental? What is mental that is that we're going to get this disallowed and we're going to be back to square one,
Offside.
even though.
Offside.
Fuck off.
But then let's go back to the red
What
card.
is
then.
that? What are we
could
talking
be here
about?
for half an hour
Honestly,
now. It's gonna be another
like this is just it is boring
What
now.
are we talking
It's
about?
Boring.
Now
That
it's-
hasn't.
yeah.
It's supposed to be a clear and obvious error. Is Jackson stood there a clear and obvious
what
error?
I'm
No,
saying.
it's not.
It's
What
not.
are we talking about? We're spending our We're spending our days watching these games talking about referees.
Lads, we've just seen a
constantly.
20-yard shot go in, and It's somehow.
Okay, now we're looking at this.
Another one.
Now we're looking at this.
We're looking at penalties.
It's not this one. It's not this one. They're a joke. They're a joke.
They don't know which one to check.
They don't even know which one to check.
They don't even know which one to check.
That is a penalty.
That's a pen. That's a pen.
Is it?
Clearly.
Is
Are you
That's a
joking?
pen.
Are you?
Can you not say that's a penalty?
Everywhere.
Lads. What happens here is he clears the ball, though, doesn't he?
Brian, anywhere else on the
Brian,
pitch, that's a red
Malo
card.
Gusto got a red card for that exact thing.
But what they're going to say, I'm not agreeing with this. I'm not
come
agreeing.
on,
I'm just
Brian.
saying they're going. Some people will say he clears the ball.
Anywhere else on the
while
pitch.
decapitating Enzo. Come on, mate.
I think they're going to check it. They're going to check it.
I don't know if he's meant it or if he's clumsy, but
Come on.
look,
Gusto didn't mean it.
I got the ball before I cut his head off. How
Yeah.
can it be-
that's the argument, isn't it?
I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
Brian, but when anywhere else on the pitch, that's a card. Like,
I'm not saying
What's
you're
going
wrong.
that means he's giving it. That means he's going to give it. If he's going to have a look, it means he's.
I've not actually seen a referee run to a monitor and not give it.
No,
So you're about to see a red card.
Don't say that, mate,
It
because now
has to
he's
be a red
not
card.
going to give it.
No, but this has to be a red. So the penalties are given for me.
Yeah,
If it isn't a red card, it's a joke.
Can I just say, by the way,
They're doing that thing with the photograph again, where they show
Yeah,
it in
exactly.
slow-mo.
No. But this is what goes on now, Brian.
Yeah, that's what
this
you need to
happens every
show.
time.
Show him that.
That's a red. That's a red.
Photo crop the ball out and just show him that one bit.
I'm just bored of it though. Like I do
I know,
miss the way
it's-
that football used to just flow.
Romero is
referee.
following the referee over to the monitor.
Yeah, he's going to get ready for the red cards.
No, but it is somewhat exciting. You scored a goal and now you can score another goal.
Mate.
Bro,
Mate.
this is mental. This is one of the most
Dramatic.
mental games of
Also,
football ever.
bear in mind, the fans in the stadium have no idea
idea.
what's going on.
No,
Like the drama involved here. You scored a goal, offside. Is it a pen? Is it a red? I find that exciting.
Mate, if this
What's
was
he
Arsenal,
doing?
you'd
What's he
hate-
doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
red
oh,
card. Red
oh.
card.
He's off.
He's off. He's off.
No, he's not. He's not calling him even.
What's he
He's not
doing?
calling him over.
Romero over. He's called Romero.
No, he's not. Romero's right next to him.
no,
He's calling the captain over.
What are we doing?
Come on, Oliver.
What are we doing? He's talking to
Oliver.
Romero and Son. I didn't expect
He's not gonna
this.
send him off.
We
Oliver.
thought he would make a decision immediately. Penalty, sending off. He's
Oliver.
talking to the captain.
Oliver, what are you doing? Oh, he's got the red
he's giving
card.
a red card.
He's
He's
done.
gonna. He
Penalty,
sent
red
them off. You've got the penalty and the red card. The
Right
game has
decision.
turned on its fucking head.
Now,
lads.
is,
Unbelievable.
Well, no, let's convert it.
Is Raheem Sterling
No
going to grab the
chance.
ball and try
No.
and take
If
this
he does,
penalty?
he's a
I think he will because he just scored. I think he will. 'cause
Cole
he just
Palmer.
scored.
Cole
Cole
Palmer.
Palmer. 100% record
Cole-
from the spot
Cole
so far.
Palmer.
Cool Palmer.
30 minutes of football, eh? Wow.
By the way, how many more minutes of added time are we going to have in this first half? It must be literally 15 minutes.
I want more minutes of this game. It's
Yeah.
a very good game to watch. They should give it
I
like 10.
must admit, I actually genuinely. I know he made the mistake. I don't think
easy.
Romero meant to do. I think it was urgency. It was
accidental
panic.
red card.
But what I mean is, you know, when someone leaves a leg in after clearing, I genuinely think he was like, "Fuck me, I got to get this out the box."
He's
here."
reckless though. That's the thing with Romero. You know, you were talking about your
Look
11. That's the reason Romero isn't in any top 11s. That's the reason he doesn't play for a better team. He's a decent defender. He's a good passer of the ball as well. He does that constantly.
I agree.
reliant.
I agree. I'm just saying, in that moment, the intent for me wasn't there. But regardless, I understand why the decision's made. I can understand in the heat of the moment. He's like, "Get this ball the fuck out."
But
of here.
he doesn't keep his studs down. That's the thing. A top defender in that situation
Dyer's
does
coming
the
on.
same thing, but keeps their studs down.
Yeah,
And that's
he
his
was
mistake.
reaching. Yeah, for sure.
If he hits him with his toe there, that's not a red card.
I feel like
It's
I'm
'cause
so
he follows through
nervous
with
to
his
watch
studs.
this.
Just don't watch it. I'll let you know if we
If
score,
you
Joey.
think about the
Joey, I'll let
irony,
you know
if
we
you
score.
think about the irony that's been served up already by these 2 goal celebrations,
Yeah.
that's what makes me so.
The next
Yeah.
one, Joey. The next one, Joey. I'm not going to celebrate it.
Yeah, Joe.
Cole Palmer's
Oh
I'd
no,
I'd
no,
say
no,
don't
sweet.
say
Cole
anything
Palmer.
to this.
Cole
Don't worry about
Palmer's
it.
thing.
No, it's Cole
Cole
Palmer. We're fine.
Palmer's
No,
Cole
Joey,
Palmer's thing.
Joey, for fuck's
It's
sake.
a guaranteed goal.
Joey, do you know what? Because he said that, I'm not going to watch.
It's a guaranteed goal. 1-1.
Bear in mind, it's been about 10 minutes. He's been waiting
10
for this.
minutes. He's got him bottom left.
Don't say it, though. Don't.
Penalty
please.
to
Bottom
Chelsea.
left.
Cole Palmer steps up.
It's a goal. Golasso.
Save! Yes! It's
I can't
in!
celebrate!
Come on,
I
Cole.
can't celebrate!
Jesus Christ, the keeper got a hand to it, but it ends up in the back of the net. And
Great pen.
if this game couldn't have any more drama,
Oh,
lads, fucking hell.
Has
Even
anyone,
can
has
I
anyone got an aspirin? Because
Can
my
I
blood
just
pressure's
say? Can I
fucked.
just say? I absolutely love this kid. And what did
I
I,
know you
tell
do.
you?
I
Yeah.
know you do.
What did I tell you? I said to you, we have got a match winner for us in Cole Palmer. Right, he's only drawn this one level, but I told you how good he was. And do you know what's best of all of it? Right, we've said about maybe players not having the right attitude, maybe not the right sort of maturity. What did Cole Palmer do as soon as he finished that penalty? Run straight over to the Spurs fan and give them that straight away. Look. I absolutely love it. I want to see more of that.
Look at Jackson, by the way.
Jackson, come on, mate, yeah.
Yeah, Jackson going, yeah, me as well. Me and all.
I was on the pitch.
Yeah. Shut up, guys. I'm good too.
Yeah. I have to say though, this has just been so
Surely now
stressful.
Chelsea
Can you
win this game? Because
Nah, don't say that. Bad.
No, because down to 10 men.
We're
Spurs-
not very good.
and
We're not
Spurs
very
have
good
not-
against 10 men. We're not
Spurs
very
have
good.
Question. Who thinks that Chelsea also get a player sent off now?
Yeah, I go with that.
High chance.
I reckon this referee will even
But
those out.
Who's it gonna be?
To be fair,
I
Ange,
say no off.
Ange gets a lot of love, yeah. Ange gets a lot of credit. Twice in the first half an hour, we've seen two of his players 2 foot try and, like, let's be honest, you should be, after the first one, someone should be saying, can we just fucking calm it down a bit, boys? We're 1-0 up, we're cutting through them at ease. Just calm down, don't do anything silly. What do? Something pretty silly.
They need to learn from Kai Havertz.
It's the horse he rode in on, unfortunately. Like, he's backed him. And now the Spurs players are throwing themselves down.
Trying to get someone off.
Yeah, they're playing up to it as well. They're trying to even the odds.
Did he
Let's have a
slip
look
here?
at this.
It looked like he slipped, right?
Up. No,
He kicked out.
It actually isn't. It's actually just an accidental injury here.
So he kicked Gallagher and he's hurt. Oh,
He's rolled his ankle. He's rolled his ankle.
I
I
hate
tell you
those.
what, they're running out of defenders, Spurs. I don't know who comes on a right back for them. Well,
Isn't
Emerson
Emerson
Royale,
Royale?
I guess.
Yeah.
Mate, I tell you what, this is a huge opportunity for Chelsea.
It is a huge
Chelsea, I
opportunity.
tell you what, Pochettino must go into that half time and shove a rocket up their arse and go, boys, this is a huge opportunity. They're top of the league right now. They're down to 10. They're running out of defenders. And I'll tell you what, you were talking about Cole Palmer. We spoke about Sterling earlier, saying he should be the leader of this attack.
No, Cole
Palmer is the leader of that
Cole
attack.
Palmer's the leader of the team, mate. Look at him. Every time he's been on the pitch for us, including when he came on against the substitutes against Nottingham Forest,
Is he onside?
he's been the
He's
best
off.
player on the pitch
He's
for
off
us.
He's
by about
onside
5.
and it's
He's
in.
not. He's
Jackson!
He's not. He's
He's
offside by
surely
about 5
offside.
yards,
I was gonna
guys.
say,
He's
surely off-
miles off.
You've scored 4 goals, mate.
I know.
Who was offside though?
Sterling by a
Sterling.
mile. By a mile.
Sterling
Worth-
well off.
worth a
Maybe
check?
he wasn't, though.
Worth
Nah,
a
it's
check?
definitely not worth.
You've got to be better than this.
He's way off, guys. He's way off. He's way off.
Oh, I don't know.
It's not even a
No,
thing.
you know, I think that's worth a check.
He's not way off. He's not way off, but he's off.
He's way off. It's a yard off.
He's not way
It's good to know Jackson
Oi.
can actually score
Yeah,
a fucking
yeah,
goal.
when the pressure's not on.
Yeah.
Jackson see that flag and thought, my time. Even once he'd seen the flag, he'd still give it the old shh.
You fucker.
Oh, again.
Well, Gallagher's been immense as well. He's been so
Yeah.
good
From
winning the
the
ball
third-
Can't
very
wait till
high.
Yeah.
Newcastle signed
Yeah.
him.
And do you know what,
In other
Joey?
news,
do you know
ball was
what?
wet.
Do you know what, Joey? Maybe we should have put him over Maddison in our joint 11. Actually.
Yeah.
Well, there's an argument to say that the way you play football, he suits you better than Maddison would.
And I mean,
I don't know.
Vicario conceded 4, isn't he? So
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I'd probably put Sanchez in there as well.
Spurs fans must be so pissed off because they started this game so amazingly, and now they've fucked it.
No, but what we've seen is their weak point is playing out of the back. They're not as good as people think they are. Same thing in the Arsenal game. I saw it. The amount of times you pressed them, then won the ball back. Chelsea have taken advantage, and that was not the first time, by the way. Like the
There we
amount
go.
of times
He's
like,
offside again.
again.
He's offside again.
I'll tell you where the weak point is for them is their mentality. If I'm a Spurs fan, I'm getting so fed up with the fact that that's happened already. They've been given a proper letter. All of us sat around this table saying that Udogie should have gone for that 2-footer. The fact that someone else has done basically the same thing, following through with their studs up, it's just immature. It's stupid.
Who's the leader in that Spurs team though to go like calm down? There is no one there.
The maddest thing about it is I'm not sitting here thinking, yeah, Spurs are guaranteed to lose this game. No,
Yeah,
which I should be.
because
No,
these
that's
guys-
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I'm enthusiastic and I'm getting gassed over what has happened so far in this match, by no means are we out the woods. We'll still probably concede
No,
a
you'll
goal in
win,
this
you'll
match.
win,
Like,
you'll win.
I do think that there's more stings in the tail. I don't know what side it's going to come from,
Well,
but
it's Son. It's Son. When Son's on the pitch, you still have to worry, mate. Especially when you're going to pile on and try and get a goal now.
Son is
thing is,
elite
though-
finisher. He's so good.
Mate,
I'm
mate,
jealous of the
best finisher in the
conversion.
league? Is he the best finisher in the league?
Well,
Yeah,
actually, he's only second. No, he's second to Haaland. Haaland's
Haaland's not the best finisher in the league.
conversion based on conversion.
He's not the best
data.
finisher in the league.
Oh, there you go.
I,
Right.
do you know what? I think I might go Son as best finisher
No,
in
so-
the
and
league. don't?
I think it's not a debate. I
Do
think he
you know who I would expect best finisher to come from? Newcastle.
I was waiting for that.
Take your pick, by the way, because
was
it could
waiting.
be either.
Anthony Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
McTominay.
Oh,
Oh,
Scott.
Spurs. Oh,
No,
Thiago Silva, stop it.
oh.
no.
Yeah, minutes per goals. I think Wilson and Isak have got the best minutes per goals in the whole
Jackson
league.
deserves a shout. Nicholas Jackson, amazing.
Kai Havertz.
Kai Havertz, leave.
You know what I will say is Raheem Sterling, now that they've gone down a man, he's trying to find that space constantly in behind, isn't he? He's actually really looking like, all right, I'm in for something.
He's got some confidence.
Out of nowhere.
It's that run every
Yeah.
single
It's that run,
time.
yeah.
And that's
He's
the weak
running.
side because Porro's not great defensively. He needs Eric Dyer.
He's actually screaming at the Chelsea defenders for not picking him out at times.
Yeah.
when
What
he's
he's
making
done,
those
he's found a
runs.
weak point in that Spurs defense, and now he's just exploiting.
Well, I think he saw the ball come up and saw Eric Dyer's number, and he went, "Oh my god!"
No, but
my
he was
career's
trying
back on
before.
track. They're not sending me to the MLS now, boys.
I'm back, baby.
60 minutes against Eric Dyer.
Sorry.
What's
Tonight
going
we
on
eat.
here?
Oh, big Andrew's
Oh,
getting
Andrew's getting the yellow.
Oh, that's a surprise.
That's really surprising.
But they're revved up, this Spurs team. This is what I mean. Like we've said
Dumb.
about this
It's
feels
dumb.
like the Battle of the Bridge. Chelsea are full of, like, let's be honest, experienced professionals, like internationals. Pochettino's been around the block a few times. Tottenham look naive.
We've got a much younger squad.
I was
than
going
them,
to say
mate.
that.
Yeah, way younger.
But
I know
what
what
we're
you're saying.
talking about, though, we're talking about players in your squad who've been in matches of this temperature before.
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Really,
actually.
I think you can only look at
Reece-
Silva
Reece-
and Reece.
Yeah.
Silva and Reece.
Silva, Reece,
Sterling.
Enzo's done a World Cup. Caicedo's done some
Yeah,
big games
okay,
for
fair
himself.
You're right.
Yeah, Sterling as well. I find that.
Cole Palmer's come up under Pep Guardiola.
But they haven't in club football. They haven't dealt with. I don't know. Sterling has.
Sterling
They've done some big
Reece
games,
has.
mate. When you're looking for a team that's got a Dogie, that's got Romero, that's got Sarr in midfield, there's a lot of that, like, you know, Brennan Johnson. There's a lot of those Spurs players who aren't used to being the flagship game on a Monday night with the Sky cameras on and when the crowd are up.
And you're always going to get way more praise when you are the underdog. When you're the team that people like us around this table, most of us were predicting Spurs to finish outside the top
I
6,
think
7.
Madison's coming off here, guys.
He's done himself though. Because Reece didn't connect.
No, I think this is a hamstring or an ankle or something because he goes down without pressure. And here's the thing about Maddison is we've almost been waiting for this moment in the season when that was the main reason Newcastle didn't sign him, I think, because we were in the hunt for him for 2 years and he's just not reliable injury-wise, which is
Definitely
ironic
ankle.
looking at the state of our squad right now. But
No, but this is it. I think I said on this show, I think Maddison's been the player of the season so far, and I still stand by it. And it was his pass, by the way, that creates their goal.
I think you
look at
also
that.
said
he goes down without a challenge. there.
I think you also say, Jacob, if he goes off and he gets injured, they are going to go right down. Spurs are going to really struggle without
Mate,
him.
if they're going to
Who
come
would
out
they
of this
throw on?
game,
What
if they're going to come out of this game, Romero's going to have a 3-match ban because that's violent conduct.
Yeah.
Pedro Porro, we're not. Did he come off?
He's still on.
He's still on the pitch, but he doesn't look good.
Didn't
on
look
that
good. It was a
ankle. If you lose Maddison for a few weeks as well, this goes from a bad night to a horrendous night for Tottenham.
Yeah. Season changer actually. This game.
Richarlison or Højbjerg, you'd imagine they'll bring on because of the sending off. You'd
Yeah,
imagine
I think
Højbjerg, really.
Højbjerg,
Yeah. Do you know what? Like, if I can try and take a bit of bias off, I know I am biased, but if I can try and take a bit off, I think Spurs fans feel hard done by in this match so far. You know, in
What?
terms of
Nah.
hard done by it, not in terms of decisions going against them that shouldn't. But look, if Maddison comes off now, you can't say that's not unlucky. You look at
Unlucky. Not hard done by. Unlucky.
No, but hard done by in a thing of luck, you know what I mean? I do think that Spurs will feel like that, and I do think that when you look at the way they were playing in that first sort of 10 minutes, they're probably thinking, okay, if things don't go against us, like
The game
injuries
could
and
have been
decisions-
over long before Chelsea came back into it. It could have been 2-3-0.
We could have scored 3 goals.
They
We
could
could
have
have
been
I
down to 9
know
men
that,
as well.
but you had one chance and they had 3 massive opportunities. It could have been over
No,
before
they
you
had
even
the
got
jackpot
going.
chance as well. Like they've had some.
I know this
Not
is
to speak-
early to say, but off of what we've seen so far, let's put it, me and Josh, out of this sort of debate. Are Chelsea as bad as a lot of people are trying to say that we are?
No,
because
no.
when I look
Oh,
at these
hamstring
matches-
injury! Oh, Spurs lad's done his hammy.
Who?
He's pulled up.
Oh,
There you go.
shit.
Oh no.
Oh, Van der Ven is
These
gone.
boys are
What?
falling apart. If Chelsea were ever to take an opportunity to turn our season around, it's got to be now.
Right
We
fucking
can't
now.
have this much going our way and not take this opportunity big time. They got Eric Dyer on the pitch. Their other centre-back is now down and he's going off.
That's a bad one.
Shit.
That's
a snap.
Bear in mind what De Bruyne is going through at the moment. That looked like that. And I'll tell you what, you asking a Spurs fan, he's been the best player in that defence this season.
By a mile.
That's a
That's so
serious
unfortunate.
worry,
That's
man.
so
And
unfortunate.
Do you not think that this is... I don't know what's going on, but I don't remember this many injuries at this point in the season. And
Yeah, I agree.
it feels like and I don't know if it's this 10 minutes of extra game time every fucking game, because everyone's playing 8 to 10 minutes extra time at the moment. But with Newcastle, I mean, the amount of injuries we're having is insane.
Mate, with Arsenal, we've seen Martinelli go down,
Timber.
Saka go down, like Jesus, Partey,
as well.
like Timber. I think this has been coming for a long time, mate. I think ever since, the COVID schedule, which was mad, let's not forget, the Winter World Cup last year, and then what happened this summer? They actually stopped for a bit.
Double
and
change.
that's always when you get injured. When you've been going nuts, when you've been going over and over, keep going. When you stop and start, that's when you get
Spurs
those
are
muscle
about-
injuries.
Newcastle's injury right now, we got Isak out, we got Dan Burn out
Where's
for
the
a few
stretcher
months.
for him?
Spinal injury. Sven Botman, who's a key player, who's going to be out for the foreseeable. We don't know when he's coming back.
Tonali.
Elliot Anderson, Harvey Bonds, Jacob Murphy. Tonali's obviously a ban. Like, they're really important. Like, we're going to Dortmund tomorrow with 16 players, right? 3 of them are keepers, lads. And we've just played you guys in a hell and back game. Like, we're fucking drained to fuck.
To be fair, Arteta did an interview recently, didn't he, where he said that the squad size should be increased to like, I think he said 30. I think he was saying like all the squad should be increased. There shouldn't be this sort of like reliance on a small squad, because you cannot function in the Premier League at this level with this amount of
But
players.
that's why I
It's
was
just
saying
impossible.
earlier, you can't have a same 11 for each game.
Yeah,
you have to
yeah,
have
My theory about why it's happening more and more is what you both said at the start of this game was 2 pressing teams. They press really well. Well, what is pressing? It's fucking running. It's hard fucking crap.
Repeat sprints as well. That's the hardest thing to do.
And who does that best in the league? Arguably Newcastle are up there in the top 3, in my opinion. And they're the ones with the worst
even
injuries.
Liverpool had a lot of
Liverpool
injuries,
for years have struggled with it. So I think because of the games becoming more and more about athleticism and less about technical football, which it was in the 90s.
That's kind of the reason why I think Arteta's trying to play more control with the ball. Because if you have off the ball, it's a lot of pressing, a lot of working hard. Whereas that's why City can keep a lot of players fit, because they with the ball the whole time, they can control it, slow it down.
Which is
play at their own
ironically what
pace.
Spurs have been doing, is they run more with the ball than off the ball
Yeah.
now. That's the biggest difference.
Sterling's in.
He's on
Sterling
side.
is in. He's well
on
on side
side.
here.
He's on
Well on
side.
side. Can he pass it?
He can, but it's a good
well
tackle.
done,
They're
dear.
playing Emerson Royale as centre back with Eric Dyer.
No,
Well, I
can't.
bet-
No, Højbjerg,
Dude,
surely.
12 minutes added
How-
time.
Oh my God, you're right.
Emerson Royale.
Oh my God.
12 minutes
Yeah.
added time
Oh
for
my
the first half. What did I just say, lads?
What else can happen to Spurs in the next 12 minutes? Like, honestly, what more bad?
Well, the
I
only,
like a
the only
plain-
thing that could happen is Son. Son going down injured. That's the only thing that could
Or Son
possibly
going-
happen
Well,
now.
I think
Son going
you
down.
boys are going to score a goal. If I I'd
Could
stick
you
a score
make
on that
Spurs
now.
score after this? Like,
Yeah.
no.
No, but you could see them still winning this. Honestly, you
No,
honestly
no.
could.
Sorry.
You honestly could.
No, but
we
this is where
we are awful.
I have doubted that we've got the character in big games so far to see things through. We didn't do it against Arsenal, obviously. This is where we need to show, even if it's the first time ever, show the character and be able to build on it. Because in a match like this, you can't have this much go
Let's
your
be
way.
real. Let's be real. If Chelsea don't win today,
Yeah.
their season is fucked.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that not because I'm trying to create a narrative. If you can't put the ball in there when it's gaping like this, and you've got your biggest arch rival who, like, literally, it's like a wounded opponent where they're just staggering towards you. You just got to hit them with one clean shot. This is the moment. And you thought it was against Arsenal. This is the moment.
This is the moment.
This is the turnaround.
This is where
If
it's gotta
Chelsea's
happen.
season is ever going to be turned around, it's right fucking now.
We said that, Brian, before the game. We said that
Imagine
regardless
now.
of this context.
Fuck
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
If you can't beat this lot now, then you might as well fuck the season off entirely.
There's serious pressure on Jackson now, by the way.
Yeah.
Because look at the way you're playing. Every chance is coming exactly the same way. Sterling goes behind, cuts it back, and
Yep.
it's Jackson he's looking for. Jackson's going to get some chance in this game. If he doesn't take them today,
You've got to really question him.
He will get that exact same chance that he put away from an offside position, obviously, or where Sterling was offside. He'll get that exact same chance again and again. When I say about Chelsea needing to show the character, this can be the catalyst for Jackson. These boys are so lucky. You need to still get it done, but they are so lucky to be in this position where things can really change from here.
Reece is free here, completely
Oh,
free.
we've
Where's
got to
the
whip it in.
Oh,
It comes out and it's defended well by Spurs. Spurs' bodies on the line. They're giving
10
everything.
more
Yeah.
minutes, by the way.
They must be knackered, Spurs already. They must be absolutely knackered.
If I'm Pochettino, I'm like, if this fucking kid doesn't score, he's gone in January.
I'm actually a bit surprised that they haven't shown Pochettino because, like, the eyes of the world are on him right now. I want to see what he's like. I want to see what his body language is like because he's been very respectful to Spurs before this game. So I want to see.
I actually think it feels like
good
football by Chelsea.
They're
I think there's more pressure on Ange because he's at the top of the league and no one expects anything from Chelsea now. Like, Chelsea have got a free hit.
Did anyone expect anything from Spurs?
No, but this was meant to be.
Yeah, well, they're the top of the league right now.
Spurs,
Expectations change as things go on.
Spurs can beat Chelsea today and go top of the league. Like, that was a perfect opportunity. You go 1-0 up in the first 10 minutes, maybe 2-0 up as well. Like, this is the chance. And now it's Spurs and up, isn't it? Oh,
this is like the Francis Ngannou fucking fight. This is like fucking.
And although from a point standpoint it doesn't, if anyone was, I know we've got Craig Mitch, big Spurs fan, who was saying that he's not looking at a title race just yet. But with the injuries they've now got, you see Maddison being out maybe for a while, Van de Ven being out for a while, suspension to Romero. With the injuries they've now got, if they do lose this game, I think a lot of people will go, okay, our ceiling this year is probably Champions League football, which will still be absolutely brilliant, but it's a pivotal game in where it changes the expectation for Spurs. I mean, do you know what? If we had lost, I would have thought maybe that we wouldn't win the title this year as well. So.
But bear in mind, mate, that top 6-7, that is congested up there right now.
Yeah.
They're like, seriously, if they are looking at Maddison being out for a while, that defence being hurt as well, you can drop like a stone.
You're on a
good
one because I'm just.
Have you seen what they got coming up,
Bro,
Spurs?
I haven't even needed to do that because just looking at the fucking table, when you say how close it is, with Newcastle on 20, Villa 22, Arsenal 24, Liverpool 24, Spurs 27, and obviously City 27. Currently, that is, if Spurs get the draw today. If Spurs were to drop out of the top four, for them to have led the league for as long as they have now, heading towards Christmas, it would feel like a bit, not a bottle job, but a disappointment.
Mate, it's so Spursy. It's so Spursy. For them to have led the Premier League for 10 games, if they end up not getting Champions League, we're talking bottle jobs of the century.
So just to be clear, we read the stats out earlier this season to Craig, and it wasn't like many weeks ago, and we looked at, after 8 games, I think it was, how many teams had finished where, and I think it was a high 90-odd% finished in the top 4.
Yeah, I think only 3 teams had it.
It was 3 out of 28 or something like that. It was a high percentage. So if Spurs don't finish in the top 4, it would be a failure. However, in context, Spurs have massively overperformed so far this season, and Maddison is so key that if they do lose him and Van de Ven...
oh my.
Sterling
he connected with him.
It's off.
Mate.
He connected with him.
There's a goal kick.
He even knows. I'll tell you what, Sterling's giving these boys some serious trouble.
Sterling looks 5 years younger, man.
He's heard us, mate, and he's gone for it.
Sterling's back to 2017.
Was there a connection here? It looked like there was there.
Nah, there was
No, there wasn't.
He likes that set. All I will say with the Tottenham thing, I agree with you, Brian. Even if they were to finish 6th, it's not a bad season compared to where we thought they were when they'd sold Harry Kane. But you have to evolve your expectations as the season goes on. You have to look at the players they've got in their team who are a lot better than we thought they were. That left back Adogi is brilliant. Mate, if they don't finish in a Champions League place, and by the way, this is very premature, right? Even if they lose this game, I think they're still 3rd, maybe 2nd. Like, this is very premature. I'm looking at their squad, it's paper thin. I'm looking at the fact that there are a lot of very good teams still building momentum who are coming for those places. This could be a night that we look back on. By the way, it's still 1-1. They haven't lost yet. But this could be a night we look back on as a real changing point in Spurs.
Well, to your point, when you look at the teams below Spurs, Tottenham, Arsenal, Villa, Newcastle, Man United, Chelsea, even Brighton, like
Villa.
There's a lot of good sides right on their heels. So, yeah.
Mate, that
we've
is
just
twice
gone,
we've seen
no,
Sanchez
but
do that
listen,
tonight.
Sanchez is a joke, but also we were so far up the pitch there. We've just literally gone all the way back for him to make an error there. We could have been playing them in.
Chance for Spurs. Can they get the cross in? They have. Oh, I'll tell you what. When they go forward, Chelsea still look vulnerable.
Oh man.
Pass.
But
Now
forwards.
break. Now break.
Springs.
Come on, let's go.
Where's the run from Jackson?
Here he is. He's got it. He's done it. Come on.
Oh, he slows it down.
This is all right. Keep the ball.
He's just Gabriel Jesus. Like, I mean, that's what he is.
Keep the ball.
Who, Jackson?
Yeah, like the same player. Like,
Really?
What do you mean?
I would love
I
it.
wish he was Gabriel Jesus.
Gabriel Jesus is laughing at this geezer.
No.
Palmer.
You naughty boy! Oh, that was great from
Their
Reece James.
defending- their
Really
defending
good
has
from
been
Reece
very
James.
good.
Palmer and James combined
Oh,
beautifully.
mate, I was watching it against Blackburn. Them two are magic
That's
together.
a serious
Honestly,
right-hand side.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you've got to look at them as like we're set now for like fucking 10 years with them too.
If he
Oh,
can stay fit,
Jackson. That was
Jackson.
dumb.
Another booking.
That was so
Here's
stupid.
Whoa! Let's
down,
calm it down.
man.
Let's calm this down. Calm this down.
This is mad. We're in the 54th minute of the first half. What the hell?
Oh.
There's pushing and shoving.
Oh,
here.
just walk away.
There's a lot of pushing and shoving.
Just walk
Colwell.
away.
You can see Colwell's. He's a young lad and he's still not quite.
But where's the captain in Chelsea? Where's the captain in Chelsea going over and just
Jenny,
saying,
who the fuck
chill?
is the captain?
Well, is it Thiago?
Gallagher is the captain.
It should be Thiago Silva.
Someone should be going over and calming him down there.
Maybe.
Like, it's 1-1. They've got no players left. Just
There
chill.
is
That
no,
was so
there is
stupid.
not enough leadership.
But it was
at Chelsea.
stupid from Jackson in the first place, and
And
then it was stupid from Colwell.
They're both going to pick up a booking here.
Yeah.
And that means for the second half, in a fiery match, once again, we're going to be looking at this and we're going to be going, "God, this could go badly in
Yeah.
terms of
But
looking at a player
so
getting sent
dumb.
off.
That's it.
So
That's
And when
it.
we've got this clear, definitive advantage in terms of having 10 men and having a couple of injuries, we can't be levelling anything back up.
Mate, that's a dream come true. If
Yeah.
you're a Spurs fan right now, you're going, wind them up, wind
It's
them up.
exactly what
go
they
in,
do.
go in.
Andrew's gonna say that
Get
in
them
the-
to kick off.
yeah.
Of course he is. He's going to say, let's level this up. Because as we've said already, every time that Spurs get the ball forward, you still look vulnerable.
Yeah.
If they can level this up, if they can get one of your boys sent off, they can win this game.
Yeah, totally.
And Ange possibly should be saying that to Spurs from their point of view.
This actually is emblematic of our entire season, if you think about it, right? We haven't finished our chances. We've had several chances. We haven't looked cool in moments where we should be dominating games. And we're just not playing the football that we need to play. Like there's like almost like the mentality thing. I mean, Brian was saying it earlier on, like the dark arts of football. We need to be better at that, and we're very, very naive. And do you know what that shows? Is it shows how young and naive our team are.
Do you know
that's
what?
the key thing.
Right now, you look like you lack a killer. That's what
Bro,
like they
that
are.
is like my literal words at the start of the season. I said
There's-
about Chelsea.
They're so well. I said it when Arsenal came to Stamford Bridge. I was like, I don't know who the danger man is.
Yeah.
Right now, Spurs are a walking wounded
VAR,
animal. They
yeah.
are.
Up their VARing, an elbow to the face.
There you go, you
Reece
saw it.
James has thrown an elbow out, and to be fair, I genuinely think he's going for the header.
That's not as bad as Guimaraes.
It's
His
nowhere
eyes
near.
are on the ball.
That's not.
Like
If they give that as a
they
red card,
will.
that's
They
fine.
will. They will.
No,
No,
he's
that's
going
not.
for the
It's
head.
not. It's been cleared.
away with
Thank
it.
God.
But this is what we're saying. Now. If you're a Spurs fan, you are dreaming of
Yeah,
something
dream.
like that happening now.
That's exactly what they need.
Well, honestly, if I was a Chelsea fan, the way I'd be looking at this, I'd be going, "Who's the killer in this team?" I know Sterling's making runs. For me, it's Cole Palmer. I think you need to get him more into the centre of the pitch.
I think he needs to go through the middle. We take Jackson off,
Jackson
and,
off.
and then we bring Mudryk
Mudryk.
on for the
I-
second half.
Mudryk would
When you look
tear
at
them
what
apart.
Sterling's doing on one
Mate.
side,
Take a midfielder
Mudryk will
off.
terrorise.
Take a midfielder off. Why not take a mid? Like, do you really need Gallagher, Enzo, and Caicedo?
Yeah, I think we do. I think if Jackson stays on the pitch, he probably gets.
This
himself
is
sent
actually
off, mate.
this. You know what? Josh has been waiting for it, and I know he scored that freaky fluke goal. But
What is going on there?
This could be the game Mudryk actually delivers because it's perfect for him.
It's set up in a way
Yeah.
that he will just completely.
His fresh
evaporate with
legs
the
against
pass-
this lot.
with the pace
When
that he
Raheem
has.
Sterling's making them look this bad.
Well, who's he running at? He's running at Pedro Porro, who's only got one ankle left, and Eric Dyer. It's a dream come true. But for me, I'd be saying take like one midfielder can go. I don't know which one it is. One midfielder go, two up front, Palmer and Jackson, two wingers on the side. And every time you get out wide, you're coming into their box. You just need two people.
You have to have
hit.
balls to do that though, because you're essentially relying on your midfield to dominate their midfield to make that work.
We're going to learn a lot about Pochettino here because now more so than ever, game management is so key. A good manager, a Fergie, a Wenger in his heyday, a good manager here, even a Klopp now, a Pep, gets these lot in the dressing room and finds by a hook or by a crook when we've got the odds stacked in our favour a way to win this game. So if we don't go now on to win this game, and I get that I could be made a meme of here if we don't go on to win this game, serious questions.
The first thing you should be saying, in my opinion, is probably the first thing Eddie Howe said to Newcastle the other day when we got in at half-time when tempers were flaring is, stay calm. Because right now, that referee is looking for any reason to even the odds so that no one thinks he's the bad guy. And if you give him that opportunity, he's going to fucking take it. So no one can get sent off in the second half.
Bit
I
of
have
Bob
to say-
Marley in the changing
Yeah,
room.
I have to say, guys, this has definitely been the best game of the season.
It's
been
in terms of
immense.
drama, not even close. Nothing comes
It's
close.
been mad.
Yeah, and I mean, I mean, the best game of the season is PSG 1, Newcastle 4. but it's up there.
Premier League game.
Every
I'll let you have
Chelsea
it.
game is, more or less. And do you know what? At the start of the season, I didn't want points. I wanted excitement. And that is why very happy with Chelsea's form so
Drinks,
far.
lads? Anyone drink? Do you want to drink?
I think I better take one, yeah.
You another one, Joe?
What I will say, we were sort of talking a bit before the game about how a lot of the real top of the Premier League table games become chess matches nowadays. We've seen Guardiola versus Arteta. It's always very tight. Newcastle versus Arsenal the other day, very tight. I'm not even saying this in a disparaging way. I think these two teams are a little level below that. I think they are a little level below where Newcastle City and Arsenal are right now. This is a lot more fun to watch.
This ain't a chess match, mate. This is Chisora Takam. This is an absolute shootout.
This is a firefight.
Yeah.
This is
So
a complete
true.
and utter firefight.
And I'm fucking loving it, to be fair. We do have a little topic to cover. We've got Marcus Rashford, who has been... there's been a lot said about him lately. First today... He replied to a tweet from the United stand, the Manchester United fan channel, which Mark Goldbridge obviously runs. And basically, they put out a tweet saying, I can't remember the exact tweet, but it was something like, Marcus Rashford set for exit or something like that. It was insinuating that he might leave, you know? And he replied, please stop starting malicious rumours or something along those lines. And... you're thinking about all the stick he's been getting lately because he went on that night out after the Manchester derby defeat. It was his birthday. And obviously he's not been in great form lately. Goldbridge then did his sort of reply of, well, I mean, really, you should be worrying about scoring goals and not what we're saying sort of thing. But he did say he had backed Rashford, to be fair to him. What do we just make of that whole situation to start off with?
I think, to reply to the tweet, and I know we're seeing this more and more in modern day football, but it's a little bit naive because it's almost like Rashford did not think there was going to be anyone giving him any criticism after going out on that night out. He knew it was going to come. Surely that is a conscious decision you make. You go, I'm going to get some stick for this, but you know what? I'm willing to take it. So I know it wasn't directly about the night out, but it's all sort of come from that, and the bad feeling is lingering over from that. So I think in those sort of situations, the proof's always going to be in the pudding. So if you know you're not set for an exit, you don't really need to respond to it, do you?
Do you think it's given his form lately, can't really reply to that, given the fact that he went out on his birthday, can't really come back at anyone for that, but this isn't true. So he's like, well, now I'm going to stick up for myself because I've had enough of this. And maybe he's looked at the fan channel and thought, well, Sky Sports are hammering me. It's a bit easier to just dig out. I don't know. Do you think Rashford's using this as an easy opportunity?
If he's in good form on the pitch, does he look at that and think, well, cool, it's a dry day for news, or does he still go back at it in that same situation? So the thing I'm saying is the mood and the temperament has definitely set the tone for the fact that he's gone back at that. Because I think if things aren't going badly at that moment in time, he's not replying to that, is he?
Do you know what? I think the irony of the whole thing is, I think actually, I'd love to see Rashford move. Like, as an England fan, as someone who, Rashford's 26 years old now, I'd love to see him move. I feel like for his entire career, he's somewhere between a winger and a striker, and I don't think they've ever really made that work properly. I don't think they've ever found a number 9 who connects with him really well. His form is so patchy. Every season, there's a 12-week hot patch where we go, oh my God, this is the best left winger in the league. And then right now, doesn't do much.
And for those 12 weeks, he is.
And
probably.
he is.
He looks world class at that point.
When he's on it, he's unstoppable. He's 6'2". He runs like the wind. He can finish better than anyone. He can beat a man. You go, oh my God, this is the guy. And as England fans, are we ever going, we should build around him? No, because we know every single season it's just going to stop again. And United fans, what I've really noticed this year, they're talking about the fact he doesn't run off the ball. I would love to see Rashford go to another club, maybe in Europe. Looking at what English players are doing in Europe right now, Harry Kane at Munich. You know, we've seen Bellingham.
You could imagine him at Madrid or Munich.
I'd love to see him go. And you know what I'd love to see him do? Because I think about Rashford a lot, about the kind of player that he is. And I do think if you play the right kind of system, he could really work as a winger. But what he really reminds me of, he reminds me of young Mbappe. Do you remember young Mbappe at Monaco, where he used to play in a front two with Falcao, where he had someone else doing a lot of the stuff he couldn't do? I would love to see a team build around a front two that has Rashford in it, because I think he could be absolutely devastating.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we're seeing the best of him at Manchester United, and I do think as much as he was amazing last season, it was in spite of Manchester United. I don't think they were playing to his strengths. I just think he hit form. I don't think that Manchester United are a cohesive unit that Ten Hag sets out and goes, you know what, we're going to play to his strengths. We're going to get. I don't think that that's even in the plan. He's just rolling him out every week because he is Mr. Manchester United.
But I don't think that helps him being Mr. Manchester. He's been Mr. Manchester United since he was a teenager. He was a teenage prodigy who, let's be really honest about it, never really hit the potential we thought he would. Like he was supposed to be the man in the Premier League, and he's not been that. The funny thing about Man United now, I think if you went back in time and say Rashford was 18 years old now, say he was 18 years old and he had, say, 1 year left on his contract at Man United, do you think he'd stay?
Absolutely not. No chance.
So why not? Why not roll the dice?
I think you can see that on his face a lot of the time for the past few years. He doesn't look like someone who loves playing for Manchester United. Like I'm just going to use my club for example. Bruno Guimaraes, not from Newcastle, but he loves playing for Newcastle. It's written all over his fucking face, and he plays like he means it. And that is something I think that Manchester United fans held up as a banner. Play like you mean it. He doesn't play like he means it.
Declan Rice at Arsenal. Declan Rice at Arsenal. He's walked in. He's been there 3 months. He already looks like he should be wearing the armband. I just think if you look at Rashford, I just want someone to sort of shake him and go, you don't have to stay here. Just because you grew up
I don't
here,
think he knows that. It's like the Steven Gerrard thing. He feels embedded. I mean, Babs, you've nailed Rashford a couple of times in the past about and this was when he was in his hot patch. You were like, this won't last. Why did you know that, and what are you making of this right now?
I don't think Rashford's style is sustainable. I think you compare them to the other top wingers, they have more to their games. Rashford is very much form, confident space. And also, I think his numbers get inflated at times because he was the main goal scorer for United last year. Now United are trying to add more to their game. You know, people know to mark out Rashford because the rest of the players can't score goals, and Rashford looks worse as well. So I think with Rashford's game, it's too predictable at times. We know that if his confidence isn't as high, he ain't going to shoot as much, and he ain't shooting, he ain't scoring as much. So I think he is too confidence-based, form-based, rather than how replicatable is he? You compare to Gabriel Martinelli, who he might not score, but he can have a good game. Rashford, he needs to score to have that, he's the best winger in the world. He can't have good games without scoring.
And what do we make of him actually lashing out at the fan channel?
That's a joke.
Yeah.
That's a joke. Because the title was something like Rashford Future in Doubt. Like, come on. What's so offensive about that? And he should know by now as well, with like YouTube channels, people do clickbait a little bit. It's normal. Like, so do Sky. Everyone does that, right? Yeah. There's nothing like offensive about it. And I think if you actually watch a video, the point is his future in the first team's in doubt. It was not even about his future transfer-wise. Like, it's just it's the YouTube mechanics. People do that little thing like, and I know that as a YouTuber, people do that.
Of course.
It's normal.
So what do we make of him in terms of how good is he really? Because we've talked about how good he can be, what he's like right now. Where is the real Marcus Rashford, and where do we put him in European football? If you were to compare him to another player, and I know this is a bit difficult because I've kind of sprung this on you lads, what would you say his level is compared to other players? Or maybe a player of the past, for example.
Do you think he starts for England? Do you think he starts? Like Euros final tomorrow.
Who's our left wingers then?
Well, Grealish.
I think you look at Sterling and Grealish. I think Saka's place is guaranteed on the other side. I think you look at Sterling and Grealish, and you have to make a decision there.
Foden,
and again, I think, and Foden.
Do you want to know something funny? I'm just going to say this because I was a Newcastle fan. This season, Anthony Gordon is massively outplayed.
I was waiting.
No, but I'm talking about.
Gordon,
I wouldn't be surprised in a few years if Anthony Gordon is actually starting for England. I wouldn't be surprised.
Shame we haven't got anyone on that wing that could. Oh, Cole Palmer? Or...
Can
I say, though, I would genuinely say that the point you said there about him getting a move, I feel like I need to see that to be able to answer the question.
Yeah.
Because when you say about, okay, he's massively inconsistent, he has these 12 good weeks and whatnot, I'll tell you who else are massively inconsistent. Man United.
No, they've had so many shit managers that, and I know Man United sort of say, oh, we've appointed loads of great managers and none of it worked, so we got to stick with this one. But I think they've appointed lots of bad managers, and I think that is actually part of the problem. And look at what Eddie Howe has done for so many poor Newcastle players and transformed them. Imagine you had a transformative manager with Marcus Rashford to then get the best. I mean, it was difficult.
If you show me a Man United side that are in bad form and Rashford's pulling them out of holes, I'm not saying it hasn't happened on the odd occasion, but then I might be able to go, okay, I can get a better judgment on where he is. But if you look at Rashford's form last season, it coincided with the form of Martinez.
I actually think he carried them at times last season, to be fair to him. I think this season we're seeing Man United being exposed because Rashford is not carrying Ten Hag. Like, I watched so many games this season where I'd look at them and go, God, they're terrible.
He carries them in patches, but you made the Steven Gerrard comparison. I think you could say Steven Gerrard put Liverpool on his back and came home with
Different
some
ball
trophies.
game, yeah.
Different ball
You're
game,
right,
but we talk about season
you're right.
where Gerrard carried them. I don't think we've seen a season where Rashford's carried them. In terms of your original question of where does he lie in terms of, let's say he's a left winger, he's nowhere near as good as Vinicius Jr., he's also nowhere near Mbappe levels. I don't think he's anywhere near as good as Martinelli. Should we go through some more? Like, would he get into the City team?
Is he better than
Grealish?
Matoma?
No.
Like, honestly,
Well, right now, as an Arsenal fan, am I having Rashford or Matoma? I'm having Matoma.
I think some people would pick him over Martinelli.
Martinelli was the one, when you said it, and I'm not just trying to say it because you guys are Arsenal fans. Martinelli's the one that I look at, and if I am going over a 38-game season, who can I hang my hat on in more of those 38 games? I would say Martinelli. But if I'm saying, if a manager can get consistent form out of him, or I have a cup final, I would say Marcus Rashford over Martinelli.
Martinelli's got a higher floor, but Rashford's got a very high ceiling, but his floor is very low.
Right,
So when he plays bad, he stinks it up, and that's why United fans.
That's good coaching, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's good coaching.
I think he's not really a. Rashford knows he's a superstar. He wants to be treated like a superstar now, and that's why I don't think he's getting that. United don't give him a platform like that. He strikes me as a PSG player. Go to that.
He was linked with it.
Yeah,
I would
go to that league, go out in Paris, whatever you want to do, but I don't really care there anyways. And then
the thing with comparing Rashford to other players is it is difficult because he's kind of a striker, kind of a left winger, like you've just said. And when I'm looking at his goals in the last 5 seasons, 17 and 31, 11 and 37, then 4 and 25. That was a really poor season. Then 17 and 35. So it went from like a goal in every 5 games to a goal in every other game.
Yeah.
And then the next season, we're looking like we're in for another crap season.
the thing is, as you say, he's not a striker or a winger, but that's kind of the mold now. Salah's not a striker or a winger either. So this is your time as a footballer to shine, right? But you look at Mo Salah, he's given that platform to just stay and do what you want. United fans want to track back, but I think Rashford needs to stay up because he's an output player. For him to look great, he has to score goals. To score goals, you have to be high up the pitch.
You need facilitators around.
You
at the
do,
same
and I don't
time.
think, I don't think Ten Hag's been able to provide that of a season.
Well, I mean, look at the state of the Man United midfield. And what's weird is at the start of the season,
he's
I thought
better
Man
than
United had
Matoma,
good
by the way. That was a bit crazy. He is better than Matoma. As a player, Rashford deserves a bit more respect than that, and I don't rate him highly, by the way. But I think he needs to get out of United and go to a Liga where he can have little moments. People go on TikTok, oh, he's amazing. He scored a great goal there, and that's it.
But Matoma has better numbers at Brighton.
And he's a lot younger.
No, but
he's a lot
You mean right now? But like generally.
Oh, in
If
form,
you look
Matoma's
at Rashford's career, over 200 and whatever games he's played, I worked it out earlier, it's about a goal contribution, goal or assist in every other game. So if you look at that, you then go, okay, that's really good. Is it elite? Taking bias away, is Callum Wilson elite? Is plenty of other players that we could look at and go, do you know what, they got a little bit better maybe than a goal and assist every other game. Are they elite? Well, the only thing you could say is, again, what you said about bringing trophies on your back. If you then combine that record with trophies and silverware acquired, like significant silverware, then I think you can make an argument. But at this moment in time, I think you've got to say, because of the patchiness, you can't call him elite.
No, he's not elite.
I think Callum Wilson's actually a really great comparison because Callum Wilson's so underrated because of the Bournemouth thing and because he plays for Newcastle and because, I don't know, I think a lot of people sort of overlook Callum Wilson. But if you were to look at him and Rashford and their numbers, people would be astounded. Callum Wilson probably smokes him if I'm just off the top of my head, but and yet most people.
I know. I'd rather go through on goal for my team.
Yeah,
the thing with Rashford is he's got elite ball striking because he strikes it so cleanly. He can bail himself out in certain games. He's got that one attribute. You go, whoa, what a goal that was! Like against Arsenal, for example. Wilson's probably got more efficient goals, but it's like a tap in or a one-on-one finish.
Yeah, he's a striker.
Rashford's more of like a whoa, that was a great moment. He's a great moments player, but is he a great overall player? That was my concern.
The highlights stick in people's mind, and Callum Wilson not so much. But if you look at the numbers,
if you go to PSG, people will make TikToks about you look amazing in highlights, and that's about it. Whereas if you watch him week in, week out, you go, hang on, that's why United fans are so frustrated. You're going, he's a great player, but he's not a great player. But he scored that goal, but they're confused going, hang on, he can have that one great moment, but he stint the rest of the game up. That was my concern, is how good are you over 90 minutes? He has good 5-10 minutes, but over 90 minutes, I'm not quite sure.
Do you know where I'd love him to go? And he never will, obviously, because of the rivalry between the two teams. I'd love to see him at Liverpool. In terms of being like a wing forward, a kind of winger striker, I think they've got a history of players like Mane, players like Gakpo, players like Darwin Nunez.
When has Rashford played his best football? Is on the break and with that fast and furious style.
I think he suits Klopp so much.
Yeah.
I know that he's not doing it off the ball right now, to be honest with you. I think it's just because the dressing room stinks. He's not motivated by Ten Hag. I would love to see him go in a Klopp team and play with a facilitator at 9 who gets him in on.
Yeah, the ironic thing about Ten Hag, and I'm sort of done with this guy, but everyone said last season Ten Hag got the best out of him. He's improved Rashford, and it's like that narrative has just been destroyed, man. Like it's absolutely destroyed. We've got we're underway now for the second half. Don't blink. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe. Thanks to everyone who's watching. This has been an unbelievable first half. We've reset to 45 minutes, but it was what 55 before.
Yeah, it was.
He's in.
Jackson through.
Jackson threw already. Fucking hell. I said
offside
don't
as well.
blink.
Vicario only just got there.
At least 5 VAR checks.
Okay, love it.
At least 5.
Expected VAR.
We spoke about game management
We should
there.
start having bets on
For
VAR.
what we are seeing, we don't think that Levi Colwill had a knock. It could come out, he did. He got the yellow card, and we were sort of looking at it saying you need a leader in the team there to maybe calm you down a little bit. Levi Colwill's been brought off now, and Cucurella's been brought on. So there's the first sign
That's
of
good strength and depth for you guys as well, because Cucurella has had the best season since joining Chelsea, and honestly, a little bit like the Cells for Newcastle. I thought Cucurella was done for sure, and he's really improved, man. He's been unbelievable this season.
Yeah,
What I like about it as well is obviously we've sat with Colwell, who's a centre-back playing at left-back in the first half because we were worried about their pressing and their attacking ability. Now we think that there's some space opening up on the left-hand side. He's put a conventional left-back on. You've gone, that's actually tactically, maybe more than anything, rather than yellow card, it's a tactical decision.
I think it's quite
And if it is, I
conservative
rate it.
by Poch, though. Like, I thought Mudryk would have been on by now, because this game is begging for him. I don't know what his fitness is like.
This is the thing. Like, if he's coming off an injury and he's like 80% fit, you risk him now.
Holy fucking hell.
Days. Cole Palmer again cutting in for the right-hand side on his left foot. That was...
He's the match winner on this pitch, I think.
Yeah,
Right
agreed,
now, Cole
agreed.
Palmer.
Can I ask you a quick question? Cole Palmer, when it comes to Gareth Southgate selecting his squad for this upcoming Euros, does he make it in for everyone here?
Yeah.
You're saying
No,
that
that's
really easily.
congested area of the pitch. When you think you've got players like Saka, Grealish, Foden, Madison,
But you can play at 10.
The issue with Palmer is,
I said about Anthony Gordon, though.
it's hard. I think
Anthony
he's got
Gordon's
quality.
numbers are better than Cole Palmer this season, but Cole Palmer, he looks technically quite special, to be fair to him.
Yeah,
But he's not quite there yet, but you can see where it's going to be.
I think he won't, just because this is Southgate's last tournament. I don't think he's going to shake too much up.
go
I think
for
he's
it,
going
he
to take his boys and try and do his thing. I think in future, especially when you're looking at a
100%.
player like Grealish is nearly 29, I think.
Really? Is he that old?
It's
I'll look it up.
slow. It's slowly.
He's getting on. It's that boyish charm.
Things are
Yeah.
going to change, and I think Palmer. The
Cost
thing,
don't
the
lie.
thing with Palmer that's so interesting, he's so big, and he's still filling out. He looks like a kid. Like he's all lanky.
Yeah,
now.
right. He's 28.
He's 28, right? Going on 29. The point is,
It's very
But-
rare you'll see a technical player that big.
it's what Kai Havertz should be, which is what's so annoying about it.
So true.
It's exactly what Havertz should be. And then you just got rid of him and bought one with the same
Yeah,
money.
it's like-
The point is, he is a
lot
very
less
interesting
money.
player. Oh, don't make rub it in.
It's like Mesut Ozil with shoulders, you know what I mean? Like, he has something there. Not Mesut Ozil level yet, but he has a lovely style of
silky.
football.
He's very silky. And you'll get a lot of plaudits because he looks so silky.
That's why I used to look. I mean, look, we're talking different levels completely, but I remember thinking, oh my God, Enzo's been
Chelsea
dispossessed.
playing
It's 2v2.
ourselves into
What is he
trouble here.
doing?
Son,
Oh my God, you can't be doing that.
We are playing ourselves into trouble.
100
here.
million pounds for that.
Cucurella,
Hey, go on.
the counter's on here.
No, go on.
It's completely on.
I was just going to say, in terms of big guys with technique, Zizou was always my guy. Like Zinedine.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I remember thinking, how are you built like that and play like that? It's insane.
Arsenal had quite a few with Henri, Perez, all
Yeah.
like over 6 foot.
Freaks, man.
Yeah.
Freaks.
Yaya was massively underrated. He is.
Yaya for me comes
Huge.
into every conversation about the best
Special,
Premier League
isn't he?
11 ever. Like for me, he gets in
Was
my
that
Premier
13,
11.
14 where he just 20 goals from midfield and he just burst through most midfields?
And he would score a placement shot from 35 yards out.
Yeah,
Wouldn't even
yeah.
need power. Just be like, I'll just dink it
He
in that
did that
corner
against
there.
Arsenal one time. We won the game 2-1. but,
He was one of my favourite
Unfair.
footballers in the Premier League
Ever,
for sure.
Yeah.
And he started off as a centre back, by the way.
Yeah.
Freak, man. Freak.
I'll tell you what, and it's been watching Declan Rice the last few weeks. I honestly think he can do that kind of thing. I think he's so developing as an attacking player, Declan Rice, and I think the way we're playing him at Arsenal now in that kind of left 8 position, I really hope that's how he grows because I think he's got the potential, Declan Rice.
Yeah, well, I mean, playing against you guys, that he was the standout.
Oh, he's great.
He was the one player where I was like, you're terrified.
But he's just got that superpower where he can do what Yaya did, which is just run through people. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you stand in his way.
Clever man.
He's
Good academy coach.
There was a moment where Kieran Trippier headed the ball clear and he approached the box and on the fly just directs his neck and curves the ball towards goal. And that easily ends up in the back of the net.
Sterling.
Wrong pass.
This was a smart change, by the way, Cucurella. Not just because I think Colwell's head's gone a bit, but I was saying I think you should get Mudryk on. I think you should go 4-4-2 almost. I think you have to pick your moment because you can see Spurs are still dangerous.
Yeah.
Because Spurs have got confidence, they'll still believe they can get something out of this game.
Yeah.
And the crowd, this is the thing, we got this match on mute. The crowd will still be getting so far behind them.
The thing
Like
is, though,
a 11th man for them, seeing
they
as
will
they've
know
had a
as
man
well. If
sent
they
off.
can find a way to win this game now with 10 men as well, they'll be
it would
Oh,
be
yeah.
mad.
Going back to Rashford, lads, because one thing I forgot to bring up, the partying on his birthday after a derby defeat. Thoughts?
Can I give you one prime example, right? When I used to box, I'd box local, right? And there's local nightclubs close to the venue. And everyone used to say to me, where are we going after the fight? Where are we going after the fight? And I say, don't even ask me that. We ain't doing nothing unless I win. And they go, well, yeah, but let's have a plan. No. Nothing. If I win, we go out, we go clubbing. If not, we don't. And that is on a massively, massively minor scale when you compare it to Marcus Rashford in a Manchester derby. So at the end of the day, people can say, listen, you get so many people that want to wrap you in cotton wool and go, oh, what, so he's not allowed to celebrate his birthday? Do you know what? Sort of, yeah. In that way, I don't think he should be celebrating his birthday. And you can hang me out to dry for it. In that way, in terms of going out and being pictured in a nightclub, I don't care whether you went there and had a Ribena. I don't care whether you didn't drink. For me, Roy Keane wouldn't have it in the changing room. Yap Stan wouldn't have it in the changing room.
Those boys were pissed up the whole time. That's why they weren't
losing Manchester derbies, and they weren't losing them and getting pissed up. I think there's got to be a bit of it where you come into that. Like I was saying, if I would have lost a fight, I wouldn't be going out after it, and I wouldn't plan to do so.
And also, like, let's not kid ourselves. He's in the VIP. He's calling the girls over. He's acting the big man. Like, he's enjoying life. You know what I mean? Like, you don't go out when you're at his level to have a little quiet one.
Do you know what I'd say with it all? And call this conspiracy stuff. I think if Rashford wants to go out on his birthday and not be pictured, he can do so very easily. I honestly think it's not an accident. We know that there's a bit of a thing with the English lads not getting on with Ten Hag in that dressing room. I honestly think he kind of knew this would happen, and I kind of think he did it as a bit of a disrespect of going, you know what, mate?
Fuck
fuck you. Like you're the reason this is going wrong. You think I'm going to respect? You can see by the way he walks around the pitch, not pressing, that he doesn't respect the manager. Honestly, this happens more than we realise, by the way. These footballers, you think they're just sat home reading books all night? They're going out all the time. If they want to do it...
fair, I seen an Instagram story that was reposted by Newcastle Twitter of the day after the Arsenal-Newcastle match from Kieran Trippier's wife, of Kieran Trippier sat in front of the screen watching Arsenal-Newcastle back, learning everything.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, though, isn't it? Between, like...
Well, it's optics as well. Let's not be daft about it. Trippier said to his wife, "Go on, babe, get a quick picture of me doing my homework before he nips down the pub." No, but you know what I'm saying. He is aware that when his wife sticks that up, it does his image a bit of good, and it's him going, "Yeah, I'm a good."
But I also
Chelsea
think,
breaking through. Sterling's flattened his man.
I also think that different culture,
That was
different
a
club,
foul.
and when you look at the way Newcastle are right now, squeezing every bit of juice out of each player versus Manchester United, I think the manager sets the tone for the dressing room, and I think that there is a bit of Ten Hag in there. With we all know how many players are falling out with them. Varane can't get a game when Man United are conceding 3 at home back to back. Spurs in.
Oh, Kulusevski.
No. Oh. Fucking hell, Chelsea really need to clear the lanes.
You boys must be losing your minds watching this.
Fuck me. I could hear a fucking pin drop.
But this is the thing, though. Look
how open
How
the
is
game
it so open? 3v2.
Spurs have bombed forward and now it's 3v2. Surely
wanna
Chelsea
go
have
to-
got to score.
He didn't want to go to that.
Raheem Sterling fucked
Sterling!
That's a foul. He didn't. So basically, he had a choice here, lads. He had a choice here. He looked at the two options and he went, "I didn't really fancy Jackson. Don't think he can score a goal." He actively chose not to pass the Jackson.
Do you not think he's just shit at passing as well? No, I just think
I
Sterling.
think he's chosen.
I
there
think
not to
Jackson was a
buzz.
little bit offside.
Bro,
there.
you're Raheem Sterling. Drive forward.
He's off. What?
It's a doggy.
Second yellow. Oh,
After he two-footed
my
someone earlier.
God.
actually, that's.
We're down to
is
9 men,
mental.
and Chelsea will never get an easier game in their lives.
And you know what?
If you
I
say I win,
guarantee, I
listen.
guarantee in 5 minutes' time they're going to have the ball in your box. You're going to be sitting. I guarantee
You
it.
don't win this now.
If you don't want to listen to what I'm about to say, rewind about 35 minutes. If Chelsea don't win this game from here on, we've seriously got to be questioning everyone in that team and the manager, because this is the game. I don't care how things have gone, luck going against you. We've now got to get over the line here, man. We've got to do it.
Fuck me, this is absolutely insane, lads.
It will
Mate,
be a
stupid
complete
kid.
failure if we don't do that. I mean, he's played well though. He's looked good. He's looked so
But-
composed
yeah,
on the
but-
ball with Dogie. I rate him really highly. But
I
he's
do.
made a big mistake.
But also,
Big
like,
mistake.
Spurs fans, you must be looking at your manager and going, for God's sake, calm them down.
What did we
Ange
say?
hasn't even shaked his hand. He's just walked straight past Ange.
I'm
His
sorry,
best
but
mate.
at half time, like that's the third time.
Oh, Jackson!
Jackson!
Jackson, just score! Just fuck.
How has he not put that
Jackson,
away?
please just score a fucking goal, mate. Honestly, this would have been harder to miss.
Oh my God.
Hold on, let's see it.
No, come on, boys.
Oh
Look
my
at this.
God.
Look
Oh,
at
that's
that.
a bad one.
I'm actually starting to feel sorry for this kid.
This is what I'm saying about putting Palmer through the middle. You need someone else in that box.
Mate.
That was so soft.
I'm telling you now, you could create 30 chances the rest of this game. If they all fall to him, you're not scoring
Mate,
a goal.
I've met a lot of women with stronger necks than him. Let's just say that, right? The neck on this guy. Stick your fucking head on it.
I have to say, right,
Break
we've been through a journey with Jackson this season where we saw how good he was in pre-season. He was immense. He was making amazing runs. He was converting chances. Everyone, including opposition fans, including Brian, was saying he looks absolutely brilliant. But over the course of this season, he's let us down so many times. We've got so worn down now. He's just... He doesn't deserve to be
Do
starting.
you know what
for
it is,
Chelsea.
though, Josh? He has the maddest bit about it. Obviously,
Is Enzo down?
He scored against Newcastle in pre-season, Jackson, and I was well impressed with the way he made the running behind. But it took me about 3 Premier League games to go, something wrong there. He doesn't look great here. And then by the 4th one, I'm like, I'm really doubting you. Now, I'm like, this guy's absolute shit.
Enzo,
Just had a
Enzo
text.
coming
Nicholas
off
Jackson
from injury.
needs to retire.
Yeah.
Enzo coming off from
Enzo,
injury. So they're doing the 4-4-2.
this was your
yeah.
sub. This was your sub that you wanted to hear.
But on the Jackson thing, it's not just that, like, he's missed a few chances and he's a young kid. Yeah, absolutely. But I've never seen a lad have so many, like, open goals.
Gilt edge.
Easy.
Gilt
Like,
edge.
harder to miss chances in his first Premier League, 10 Premier League. Like, we're not talking about Darwin Nunez here. Like, and we'll get on to him, by the way. But, like, as much as Darwin has had his absolute stinkers, he's actually hammered it in the back of the net a good few times as well. So you're like, what are we dealing with? Jackson's just absolute crap.
Darwin Nunez has scored a few goals he shouldn't have scored.
Yeah.
I could show you many chances that Haaland's missed this season, where if you put a combination
Yeah.
together, you go, he misses some sitters. He scores so many more, and more that he wasn't supposed to score.
He's offside.
Yeah,
He's
it is.
offside. He's
Yeah,
offside.
it is. He's onside.
No, he's not. He's just missed
Saved
the
by
sitter.
the keeper. Saved again.
He was
now
offside.
the flag has come up.
He was off.
It doesn't matter. He doesn't know he's off when he's going through on goal. Bless him. I'm gonna agree with you, Brian. We got to feel sorry for him because the boy is not good enough at this level just yet.
Mate, he misses too many easy chances. It's not like, oh, it didn't come off for him. They're fucking easy, man. You're a Premier League striker.
You have to credit him for making the chances. Like, it is his movement that's creating these chances. And by the way, you mentioned Haaland. If you look up a chart of who misses the most chances in the league, it's Haaland and Salah. Like, the best forwards do miss chances because they create so many with their movement. This guy can't finish. He can't finish. And this, like...
I'm racking my brains to think of it. Who can even compare
Nunez.
to how bad this guy
Nunez,
looks?
mate,
No,
Nunez
No, because
is not
Nunez,
bad a finisher.
we've just said that, but Nunez does score and he scores goals that you wouldn't expect him to. This guy's always shite.
Statistically, Nunez, if you looked at his stats, you wouldn't even think he was that bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Stats-wise,
exactly.
Nunez
this guy
looks
is,
right.
He misses
This
on
guy
the
is
chances,
on
yeah.
fraud watch about
I
5
compared
weeks
him
ago.
earlier to Jesus. I think he's a similar type of... He'll make chances, like you said, from movement, but he won't score as many goals.
But
Jesus is similar in a sense.
Bro,
but
this guy
obviously
can't finish, man.
But he's better, obviously. So it's like-
Jesus scores 1 in 2 games. He's got a
No,
scoring
like,
record of 1 in
Jesus
every
is
other
the better
game.
player, but he's of that ilk where he will make chances, do some little dribble, little flash. You think, oh, he's a great player, and then he'll miss a chance.
I think Jesus is more of a playmaker. I
Does
think that's the
Jesus-
difference. Jesus creates stuff for other people. I don't see Jackson
No,
creating
that's
anything
why
for
he's
other
the better
players.
player. That's not the point.
When Jesus goes through on goal,
Yeah, but he will miss
do you
chances
do?
like that.
But when he goes through on goal, 10 times out of 10, do you literally sit there and go, "This ain't going in.
What
Here
a
we go."
pass by Cole Palmer. Oh, sorry, lad. He just split the defence. It was perfect ball.
It's
Little
more
bit
like
too
a
hard.
50-50 with Jesus in front of goal.
That's what I'm saying. And it's a 98.2%.
This sort of brings us on to Darwin Nunez. We were going to bring him up anyway.
Darwin.
He had a game against Luton where he missed one of the sitters of the season. It was a horrendous miss. And I just wanted to know what you lot thought of him.
Finish.
Oh, shit. That was almost a goal from Reece James. Just volleyed it just wide. I mean, there was a tough angle, to be fair to the lad. The goal's got to come any
We're
second.
knocking.
I don't think we're going to be.
Mate, it's got to come any second.
It's
mate.
coming.
They're
I
down
honestly
to
don't.
9 men, man.
You got
Fucking
about-
hell.
you
I
got
just don't know
another
where the
half
goal comes from.
What do you mean? You're fucking peppering the bastard. It's going to come soon.
Benton, Core and Skip.
Darwin Nunez, obviously, he missed that chance against Luton. It was a shocker. And I wanted to know what you guys thought of him. Like, is he actually ever going to come good?
They spent £70 million on him. So you have to judge him on that parameter as well. It's a very high price tag. Is he a good player for 40, 35 million? I think, yeah, he's a good player. But is he worth that sort of money, ever going to be worth that sort of money? I'm not quite sure, because he will always miss chances. However, I can see what he offers. I can see what Klopp sees in him.
You don't think he's ever going to refine his finishing?
It's very difficult. It's very difficult because I think a lot of his finishes are instinctive. So he has to develop an instinct, and I'm not sure if you can just like develop that. I think it's a lot of his chances that he overthinks it, and it's just natural to him. He will always miss chances. However, he will get into the right positions, and if we're talking 10 to 15 goals a season, he will get you that if you start him 38 games. So he will guarantee you goals to an extent, but he won't ever be a Heung-min Son by any means or Erling Haaland. However, he's like a Haaland, but take away 4 or 5 levels. That's what he is. But that's the profile. Causes chaos, great movement in behind, can find a little run, can make a little chance for himself. He might score a banger here and there, but he's always going to miss a lot of chances.
He's like Haaland if Haaland was drunk.
That's what.
That's it.
That's
When
what
I watch him, it's like Haaland after 4 beers, man. Like you don't know what he's going to do. Was it in the Champions League he scored that screamer the other day? Or was it in the cup or something?
cup.
Was it in the cup?
Against
Against
Bournemouth,
Bournemouth,
yeah.
The
Carabao
first
Cup.
touch is the worst first
worst,
touch
yeah.
I've ever
That really
seen
sums
in
him
my
up, right?
life.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then he just puts it top bins. I think there's a player in there, and he's a sort of player where years ago I'd have gone, God, if you give Arsene Wenger that guy, he can refine him. I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him get a proper run in that Liverpool team. I think there's an incredible talent in.
Klopp doesn't want to give him a run. That's the weird thing. Klopp actually recently come out and said it's frightening how good he could be. And I'm like, why are you not playing him then? Like, you always prefer other people to him. And I thought, rocky first season, come good second season. In the second season, he barely started a game. Do you know what I mean?
As soon as they bought Gakpo, I thought to myself,
was a
you don't
prop
trust
signing.
Darwin.
Yeah.
As soon as you bought Gakpo, I thought you want someone who's a bit more technically secure, who's a better passer of the ball. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with his career now. Because the thing is, we know how Liverpool work. They do rotate those forwards.
Well, Mo Salah's going to leave at the end of the season, by all accounts.
They'll buy someone. I think they'll buy someone for that side. I don't think Nunez will go to the right-hand side. But Jota, for example, he doesn't start for Liverpool. He gets plenty of games and scores plenty of goals. Whether Nunez wants to do that, or as Bav says, he's a £70 million man. He might want to go somewhere.
Onside.
How has he fucked that up?
I'd love to see him get 20 games in a row. Because honestly, I think there's something
agree.
really exciting.
I've always backed him from get-go. From the second I first saw him, I thought, you've got it, and it will come good some point. But lately, that miss against Luton, I was like, fuck me, I might be eating humble pie here.
He's started 5 games, right, and he's got 4 goals and 3 assists. That's a pretty,
No,
he could have
pretty
14
good record.
goals at the amount of chances he misses.
Yeah, but come on, that's a decent record. If I had a bench player coming off and getting that amount of
That's what I'm
goal
saying.
impact,
He will score 15 goals a season. He will. But he will miss like 25.
So just to give the clear stats, he's had 10 games in total, started 5, as I said, scored 4, 3 assists. I mean, he's already on course to absolutely destroy what he did last season. He got 9 goals in 29 appearances. So that 1 in every 3 games is becoming a lot better. I personally think he will come good.
Is he-
I think he'll be one of the best strikers in the Premier League if he is the main man and he's trusted. And confidence players like that, they need the arm around the shoulder and they need to be told, we love you, you're starting every game, whatever happens, you're starting. But right now he doesn't have that.
I think the player he has to look at is Karim Benzema, because an early Benzema
Chelsea,
career,
great shout.
he would miss so many chances. There was one point where Real Madrid fans booed Benzema. That's how many, he was missing that many chances. So now I think he's got to look and go, Klopp's got to coach him, but how long is Klopp there for? And after Klopp goes, is the other manager going to fancy him? That's the question.
A lot of people will look at what you said is about Benzema and think, wow, that's mental, because we know the Benzema now. We know
He's
the
so technically secure, Benzema.
Yeah, we know the god that it became, but the reality was, you're totally right. He was missing sitters back in the day, and there was a lot of hype about him. But people were going, is this guy actually going to make it? And I personally believe he will, but I don't know if. In the situation at Liverpool, when you've got a Mo Salah and you've got the main man like him, who's going to lead the line, and other players who I feel like are favoured ahead of Nunez, I don't know if Klopp is going to give him that responsibility and go, yeah, you're my main man. But he has to get. You'll never get the best of him until he does that.
Though. Whose signing was he? Because he wasn't Michael Edwards, who'd left Liverpool. Klopp was that guy in charge of transfer. So is it Klopp signing because he signed Gakpo soon after that, or is it someone in the board?
I think it was a Klopp signing.
But then you got to trust him then.
The ironic thing is Newcastle wanted him as priority, and when we didn't get him, we signed Isak.
Would you swap them?
No, because I think Isak is actually the finisher, and he's the one who's the more guaranteed goals guy.
Do you know what, Brian? I don't think it's just that. I think it's also Isak's technically secure, and I think if you said to Klopp, what's the issue with Nunez? It's not the missing chances. It's that every time he misses a chance, he loses the ball.
He's erratic.
Because he takes so many shots. Because his touch is so poor.
Yeah.
You just lose the ball.
Isak's a much better footballer.
I think if you want to get the best out of Nunez, you have to do what City have done with Haaland, right? When City brought Haaland in, they went, okay, this guy's going to come up front. He's going to be a goal-scoring machine. But he is not the technically secure player that we've had in the system for so long. So what did they do? Rather than having, Sterling one side and Sane the other, they stopped all that and they went, let's get some really technically secure players around it.
Mate,
let's bring Grealish in.
I'm having Groundhog Day, because at the start of the season I said, last season, you're not building the team around him. And that's what Haaland's had done for City.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think if Liverpool are going to get the best out of Nunez, they need to look at those wide. If they're going to say Nunez is on 9, they have to look at those wide positions and go, right, rather than having other players who are going to have 7 shots a game and whose touches, and they're going to try and beat the man every time, they need to go for technically secure players, Grealish-like, players like that who are going to hold onto the ball and provide assists.
And people forget, Kevin De Bruyne is a hell of a fucking creator and has played. We all give a lot of credit to Haaland. Oh, he should be the Ballon d'Or winner. If Kevin De Bruyne's not there for that entire season, it might not be I'm not saying Haaland doesn't score a fuckload of goals, but he's a huge part of that.
And who's that for Liverpool? Wait,
Exactly.
if you're saying that Haaland's got De Bruyne, who's Nunez got at Liverpool? Soboslai getting there, maybe. But
underrated Mo Salah. Mo Salah's an elite creator.
I'm not saying he's not an elite
but
creator.
Mo Salah doesn't go onto the pitch going, my job today is to create for you, the way Kevin De Bruyne
I think he's
does.
becoming that though.
Yeah,
I think
but
they're evolving
I
into
think-
that now.
Correa through on goal. Correa through on goal.
Surely he's got to score.
Pass!
Oh my God!
Jackson!
Loses it. Oh, he's terrible.
couldn't-
Oh, stop it! Make it stop. Throw in the damn towel. Jackson's done out here.
That was Kai Havertz.
Finished.
We just can't score a goal. I don't know what's going on in this game. There's just simple passes, just play a sideways
To be
ball.
fair to Cucurella,
Mate,
he is a defender, but
This
yeah.
game,
Yeah, but just
this
pass.
game is nuts. Why are Spurs playing such a high line? I feel like every 3 minutes
They
I'm
haven't
watching a
given up.
Chelsea player just
Yeah.
run through.
I think that the issue for Big Ange is mentally, he's not built to go, let's just defend.
He won't bend.
Yeah.
It's like you said at the start, he just won't bend.
Yeah.
But it's like you've got 9 players. Every 3 minutes I'm watching a Chelsea player. The left back's just done it. Just run through.
But when we watched Arsenal Spurs earlier this season, we were like, are they going to fight fire with fire? They did. And they got away with it. But you're down to 9 men.
Look how high the
But
line is.
look how
Problem
easy
here.
this sideways pass is here. Look, it's on. I'm getting flashbacks of Harry Kane in the World Cup like that. It's simple.
Chelsea's biggest weakness is being shown so clearly here, and that is that you can give us as many chances as we want, but ultimately, last couple of matches, it's just been penalties.
I also
for
have to
us.
give credit for the fucking keeper because the
Yeah,
keeper has
he's
been
been brilliant.
outstanding.
With his face, he saves that.
No,
one.
this guy deserves a pay rise because he has given everything for
Who's
Spurs.
your attacking scout? Because first it was Havertz, then it was now it's Jackson, someone before that as well. Like,
They
who's
changed,
spending-
they changed between
I'm
signing
so
and Havertz
confused.
and
How can you spend that much money and not have an elite goal scorer?
It's the biggest failure of the summer. It's the biggest failure of our transfer policy for the last 18 months, mate. We've been tearing our hair out, and we did think that Jackson, based on pre-season, was going to be that guy, and he's certainly not. The problem is that we got Broja as our second option, who should actually be the first option now. He just can't stay fit, so that's the big problem for us.
On Nunez, lads, just while we're having a little bit of a break here. On Nunez, in terms of the level that we expect them to be at, I like to sort of put you on the spot a bit with previous players from years gone by. Where do we expect them to finish up? And who out of you lot thinks he won't make the grade of being a first choice Liverpool striker that leads the line week in, week out? Does anyone think he doesn't make that?
He won't make that.
No,
I'll hold my hands up now. He's never going to be that.
I think he
Ever.
will because of the money. I think they'll force him into that, and I think he's a very good player, by the way. But they signed him to be Haaland, and he will always be a slight level below that. But I think he's a good player.
I think it'd be more than a slight. I really rate Nunez. Like, I look at him sometimes and I'm like, when you get it right, oh my God, you're going to be a player. But there's so many examples of players that I can say I've said that about. When you get it right, ultimately they never did. And when you say he's a level below Haaland, he's a level below Suarez, Torres, the men we've seen leading the line for Liverpool. He ain't going to be to that level, but I do genuinely believe that he will become a starter for Liverpool. And maybe, again, if they build a team around him with the right players there. Like you say, at the moment, Salah at the moment isn't going on the pitch and thinking, let me provide for Darwin Nunez, and he's never gonna go on the pitch thinking, let me provide for Darwin Nunez. So maybe he's gonna need a Mo Salah being the main man in that team to come out, and then
they build it around him.
They start
like what happened when Harry Kane left and Son became the main man, right?
Yeah, Ruud van Nistelrooy left Man United, and then Rooney and Ronaldo stepped up at the same time. Tevez. So maybe that will need to happen for him.
Do you think, Josh? Do you think he could be the main man for Liverpool?
I don't know. I don't think he'll ever be the main man. No, I don't think he will, because I think they've got so many technical players that will be in there, and I think they will sign people when Salah leaves.
But what I mean is that the main striker whose job it is to lead the line, score the goals, the responsibility is on him.
I feel like he would have already been that if he was going to be that.
When Mane came out, right, he should have just gone straight in there, and he didn't.
Do you not think he's a bit young though? I mean, what is he, 22, 23? He's still young.
Look, I'm not saying he's a good player, and I would put him in there, but I can just see the way that Klopp's going to go. And actually, when Klopp leaves, I think I do feel he is a Klopp player, and as we've been saying, he was signed as a Klopp player.
Yep.
So I think when Klopp does inevitably leave, which could be sooner rather than later, then I think he is going to struggle, because I don't know if the next manager comes in rates him as highly as Klopp does. That will be the interesting one for me, is he going to be looked after as much?
We do have some super chats. Shout out to the chat. Thanks very much. I'm just going to read some of these out. Best half of football I've ever watched, says Cathal. Rashford should go to Serie A. He would dominate.
He would, but he wouldn't get paid the wages that he needs to get paid.
Yeah, it is a bit of a fucking...
That's the problem, yeah. That's why he's going to stay at United forever. No one else is getting
He's only getting it.
grand a week.
Yeah, he's only getting it at PSG, Real, and that's it, really, isn't it? That's the only option.
Interesting point. Kovacic red versus Arsenal, Akanji offside versus Fulham, Højlund penalty versus City was soft. Are City the new United getting refereeing decisions?
Do you know the problem that's going to happen is and I mentioned this a little bit with the Newcastle thing in the weekend. So many of these referees are now going to the Middle East, to the UAE, to Qatar, to Saudi to pick up a pay packet midweek before flying back at the weekends. You are going to get people turning around and going, well, hang on a minute, if he just pocketed a load of money from Saudi Arabia, are we really expecting him to give a decision against Newcastle? If he's just gone to the UAE and got a pay packet from them, is he going to give a decision against City? I don't believe in those conspiracies, but you're going to get people who start making those accusations now.
Mm-hmm. Another one about Nunez. Shout out Daniel Lavin, who says... Nunez has 9 goals and assists in the Premier League in 500 minutes this season. He's having a good season, so cut him some slack. Shout out to the chat. Appreciate you all. Do get more in. Hit the like button if you haven't already. We're at 73 minutes gone now. Still 1-1. Who thinks Chelsea win this game?
They have to, surely.
I definitely don't think we're going to win it. I definitely
come on.
don't.
You think you're going to win?
I would
No,
put
no.
money on it. I would put.
No,
I think that's the biggest failure of the season.
This is a loss. If we don't win tonight, this is a loss.
You had
it's a
your
bad
chance against Arsenal. You were 2-0 up and bottled that, right?
Yeah.
Now you
Completely.
got to take this one because these guys are the ones that bottle normally. So if you can't bottle the bottlers, then
Their line is so high.
exactly they're giving you the opportunity to go and attack them.
I'm really not seeing the same amount of creativity or definitely precise creativity in the last 20 minutes or so that we were seeing in that first half. If anything, since they went down to 9, we've got a lot
Why
worse.
is Mudryk on yet? He's not.
Yeah,
He's
Mudryk.
just come on.
He's-
Sorry.
No,
he's been playing
on
for a while.
Mate,
Been on.
What's
this
happened
says
is
a
I
lot,
think
doesn't it?
Chelsea have become impatient because they see the opportunity going 9 men. We got to win this game, but they're not
How
making
high the line is. Just play
me.
it over.
Mate,
It's crazy.
Spurs are really living dangerously, Austin
Yeah.
Powers style.
I know we've got 9 men, but if they lose this game, Spurs, and it's because of this, and we'll get some sort of like, come on, you got to be like, hang on a minute, bro. Like, we can see it's failing. Why do you keep persisting with it? What's your...
Go on,
He's
go on,
no,
go on,
He's
come on.
onside here. He's definitely onside.
This is
Pass.
it. Jackson! It's a
Get in. He's well onside.
Come
I know
on,
he's gone.
Lee.
He doesn't deserve it, but he's done it.
I'm
Who
sorry.
cares? He's elite. We
Babs
think he's
is
got
right,
it.
but Babs is right about what
Get
Anthony
in.
did there. That's crazy.
I'm just saying, like, this, it's been coming all game, even with 11 men.
And I had no doubt.
And-
As soon as Jackson went through there, I knew that
I
he was
knew.
finishing that shot. Because what do we do, Josh? We back
convert the
our
chances.
boys. We convert
Get
our
in.
chances. We back our boys, and now it's paying off trumps for us.
Yeah. We've said that Sterling is brilliant the whole time.
Yeah.
We've said that Jackson is the number 9 that we wanted all along.
Never said a word about Kukuraya.
He's done it.
Genuinely, I am really surprised at Spurs' crazy kamikaze
He's onside.
high line here. I don't know what on, like, you're down to 9 men, lads. Park the fucking bus, you absolute morons. Like, and I guess this is the first time we've looked at Big Ange and thought tactically naive here today, mate.
So, mate,
9 men. What are you fucking playing? at?
Stupid. Because when they
He's
are
still trying to win the game.
Mate,
No,
when
no,
they-
it's not. I understand
He
what he's doing. No, I understand what he's doing here. Like, basically, there's a school of thought that says if you're compact between the lines, you got the strikers close to the defenders. Sarri was known for this. Actually, he did a lot of press about it. He was saying that if you have that space, then you can't break teams down. But obviously, it allows so much space over the top, and they have been completely cut open. But I understand tactically why he's done it, but it isn't.
But
working.
you got to look at the team you're playing against. When you have got into their box and you've been passing it around it, trying to find it, I don't think you're going to score for 200 days, mate.
No.
Like Jackson can't be found with a torch.
Oh my God, we've got a VAR check.
Fuck off.
There's a VAR check. There's no way
Fuck
that's
off.
offside. There's no way.
What are we even bothering here?
There's no
Like,
way
I'm
that's
sick of
offside.
this.
Yeah, that was on.
Oh, come
It's
on.
offside.
Have a fucking day off, VAR.
But when you're playing against
Like-
a team, when you're playing against a team that's got Sterling, Mudryk, and Jackson, 3 runners, why are you doing that?
They were even looking at the Jackson pass, by the way. They even wanted to have another fucking go at it as well.
Tell you
It's
what.
a joke.
Josh,
It's
to
a
ask
joke.
you the question again, do we win this game now? No, can I just say something? I feel like we need another.
No, I
though.
feel we
Oh,
need
I think you
another.
do,
I feel like
man.
we
I
need
feel we
another,
need another.
just purely for my own sanity.
Yeah.
Like, just another, and then, you know.
You know what? Because you guys have been so wide open at the back at times, and Spurs have cut you open so easily. If Big Ange says, "Yeah, lads, roll the fucking dice, let's go for it,"
And why
it would
wouldn't
be
he?
interesting.
Why wouldn't
Yeah.
he? That's what he's got to do.
Oh, this is an interesting one. Reece James is coming off for Malagusto. Malagusto's obviously got a load of strapping on his knee. He's definitely not fully fit. So they
You
must
got
be
to be
managing
careful
Reece.
there. You got to be careful, James. haven't
We
you?
got to be careful. And do you know what? I am so happy to see that we're back because everyone bantered me, right? And it's not to say if we win this match, anything's changed. But everyone bantered me the other day when I sat around this table and I said that when we were saying about people match winners, and I said, all right, not in goals and assists, but having a head on the field that can elevate us. And I said Reece James, and everyone laughed and said an injured right back. But we do see, since he's come back into the team, there is a significant rise in our quality when Reece James is on that pitch.
Yeah, quality and mentality even as well. Like, he just brings a coolness that we don't have really from any other player, I would say, like the mentality side of the game. So it's a shame to see him go off there. And
The only thing I will say, that when it was 11 versus 11, they were coming down that side a couple of times. I think that's probably a fitness thing. Do you know what I mean? He's not 100% sharp yet. I still think he's a tiny bit of a defensive liability, Reece James.
I must admit, after watching this, a 2-1 win should make you think, yeah, I'm getting more confidence in this Chelsea team. If anything, I'm less confident. Oh! Spurs have just scored! Is it offside? Fucking hell, lads! This game is mental!
Oh my God.
Can you believe the way I
how
said
many
that?
times
He's
have we
not sure,
celebrated?
he's not
not
sure.
sure at all.
I love this game, man.
That was Alan Shearer levels of technique there. Fucking hell.
He's way off.
God, but
It's way off.
But to my point that I just said, to me, I literally went, if anything, I'm less confident in Chelsea. Bang!
Do this every week.
Do you know what? We clam up. There's something about it that we just get nervous.
It's Josh, no offense, but if there's any game, Chelsea really are not a
By
good
the way,
side, man.
that stadium will be up now.
No.
That stadium will be up.
What a finish.
But it ain't even I've seen enough evidence in this game to go, Chelsea are miles away from where they should be.
Why are they replaying?
Why are they replaying?
It's a free of the
It's who does the ball hit off? Is it Chelsea or is it Spurs? That's why they're replaying it. They can't tell. It's obviously Spurs, in my opinion, but...
Babs, how many VAR shouts was it?
I said 5.
And I think there's been about 8.
No, there's been 3. There's been 3 VAR checks.
I'm looking at this game not as, the 3 points is guaranteed. You're playing against 9 men.
Don't say that.
But the overall where this game has gone, it's made me go
What are they saying?
Chelsea's chances of getting
they're
top
checking
6
Jackson's
is
spot
mad.
now. They're
That's
checking
Caicedo. Is it?
Caicedo.
Yes, Caicedo. Yeah.
Yes, Caicedo's, and he's in front of the thing as well. Ooh.
I don't love this part of the game anymore.
No,
that we're just sat
mate,
here
I
watching
don't.
fucking
I
replays
don't.
and stills, and we're
No,
looking
no,
at
no.
drawing lines.
You say this a lot more when it's against your
No,
team.
it's true. It's
Then you've
true.
got-
I'm
He
bored
never
of it.
says
No,
this when
then
his
you've
team
got
might
the-
have a goal.
You got the suspense because if it's a red line, it's on offside.
Yeah,
it's green,
yeah,
it goes
yeah.
to goal.
Yeah.
Oh my God! If this guy's in,
Battle of the lines.
Please be red.
no
red
fucking.
line.
We,
Why
I
aren't they
don't
drawing
care
the line?
about.
Can we all agree though? What a fucking finish from Dyer.
Yeah.
But
Highlight
I've
of his
seen Alan
career.
Shearer do this against Aston Villa about fucking 2 decades ago. I see it on Twitter every week. It's a hell of a finish from Dyer. Wow.
I don't know.
Like, come on, lads.
why
We've
aren't they
looked at
drawing
it-
the lines?
We've looked at it. There you go, red line. We looked at that. We wasted 3 minutes. Can I just say on that decision? We all knew it was
What a
offside.
3 minutes. Eh?
was that a clear and obvious error? That's
No.
The whole point of VAR is clear and obvious. There's nothing clear and obvious about
Honestly,
that. That's an
I'm
error.
bored. of it.
I'm more. Look, I know it's a derby, and I know Spurs are a good side, but the way Chelsea, even with Spurs down to 9 men, have really struggled. I'm looking at them going, it's going to be a long season for you lot here. Like, as much as you want to take the positives out of it, I know Chelsea fans will be happy with 3 points. I'll be looking at this going, fuck me, we're in for a long season.
They ain't got 3 points yet, mate.
Yeah, but regardless,
No.
this is a game that you can switch it up and you can turn your season around. I'm not seeing anything from Chelsea in this game where I'm like, you guys are really going to kick on here. Like, you've made a mountain out of a molehill. Out 9 men, you've made it look hard.
I tell you what though, this is more of a game changer, more of a turning point in the season for Spurs than it is for Chelsea, regardless of the results. They've lost Van der Ven, their best defender. Maddison is injured. Pedro Porro got an injury in the first half. He's still managed to play. They've lost some of their best players
They
tonight.
lose Udogie on a suspension.
And Udogie on a suspension. So they've got so many things against them here. You do now worry, regardless of what the result ends up being tonight. You worry about that.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes, I expected that and given the situation, but I'm just thinking, like, from a perspective of the winning team, you expect them to be able to go and kick on from this. And that might happen with Chelsea, but I'm not seeing as many signs as I would want to. Watching a winning side, you're like, yeah, but there's still many questions about many of these players right now.
The fact that we couldn't put the ball in the net for as long as we did, when we're playing against 9 men, it tells you everything you need to know. Yeah. And you've seen why we're tearing our hair out about the forward play.
I'm starting to understand more than I did before because the expectation went up. You're like 9 men, okay, Spurs playing a high line. And look, you've got the job done. Well,
well,
let's not talk too soon.
Brian,
yeah, but like, I mean, aside from a worldie by Dyer, but yeah, I'm seeing a lot where I'm like,
take the foul.
As someone who should be competing with Chelsea, and as a Newcastle fan, we should be looking at Chelsea as rivals this season, given the investment. I think there's some major components missing from this team still. Like, as decent as you are, I'm not saying you are a bad team, but there's going to be a lot of hiccups, I think.
I think the easiest way that I can summarise it is you have a functional team. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way.
I agree.
I mean, you get the job done.
Absolutely.
And against all odds, and with players that are far less technical than our players, you would say. And we have a dysfunctional team in that we have all of that technical ability, all of the nous of a Pochettino, who's meant to be this immense manager. We have players that can put the ball in areas that we should be scoring from, but we're just so blunt up top that it makes everything everything else look worse. And you convert those chances and you win games that you're not meant to win, and we lose games that we're meant to win.
I think we simplify the game and you guys overcomplicate it. When I watch this, I'm like, fuck me, you make a mountain out of it.
There's just a gaping hole in that part of the pitch for me with Chelsea. There's no 10, there's no 9, and I think at the back, good, compact midfield, nice, out wide, yeah, good. Through the middle, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I'd love to see Palmer play through the middle a little bit more.
Me too.
Until you get a proper number 9, though, he's got no one to play off.
No, but do you know what? Like, Palmer could be doing the false 9 role very adequately and probably better than what Jackson would be as a out-and-out 9. And so we were calling out for that. Joey and I both predicted our team sheet before this game. We were desperate to see Palmer in that role.
Who the fuck was Mudryk passing to there? Seriously,
Mudryk hasn't been great since coming on in this match.
I'm literally looking, going, who the fuck were you thinking of there?
I think when I look at this Chelsea side at the moment, that's the main thing that I draw confidence in. And obviously I try and get confidence from wherever I can. But exactly like you were saying there, I do look at it and I go, if we get them right, which there's no guarantee we will, 2 additions maximum, I think even 1 addition, and this team turns into a team that are challenging for European spots somewhere. And whether it's Champions League or not, if top 5 get you Champions League, maybe so, but definitely challenging for Europa League spots if we can get someone in who puts the ball in the back of the net.
Big if, though. Let's be honest. We were saying about this earlier. I think there's a bit of a talent drought in Europe at the moment in terms of attacking position, in terms of strikers. I don't think there's an easy name you can say right now who walks into this team who's easily gettable, who changes things that fast.
But the other thing is as well, though, when we say that, the first place everyone's mind will jump to is they'll go, so you're hanging your hat on someone scoring you 25. It's actually not that.
No, I agree.
If Jackson could put up 15, I can guarantee you everyone else's numbers go up because there's not so much reliance upon him. And it's going to elevate everyone else's game a little bit to know that no matter what, we've got someone that can get us 1. And if we defend well, all we need is 1. But then it can open the floodgates a little bit for us to start converting chances and scoring goals. So I do believe that if we can get, let's say, for example, an Ivan Toney or someone like that in, then it could change things quite drastically for us.
This has been a fucking unbelievable game. We've got now a free kick in the final third for Spurs. Obviously, the last one ended up quite well. It does feel like there's still some drama left, man.
Oh, God, yeah.
It doesn't feel like a Monday night November game.
It doesn't.
This feels like a semi-final.
Yeah, it does.
It's not.
Like
feels
a
like a
fucking
final,
Champions League semi. Whipping it in.
It's a good ball.
Not bad! Oh, has he missed that? It should be 2-2. That is an absolute sitter.
No, he's tried to head it
Spurs should have
at the same
scored.
time.
Fuck me. Chelsea have let them absolutely in at the back post. That is a shocking
Should have
miss.
scored it.
He's headed down.
Should have scored
God.
it.
How are Chelsea giving this away against 9 men?
They've torn us apart from the set
Staggering,
pieces.
mate. Chelsea, literally, I have to say, lads, if Spurs had 11 men, there's no way you're getting
No,
a
we
draw.
would've lost.
Where's Mr. XG? Is that you?
Yeah, I'm Mr. Extra.
I don't think you're winning this one on XG.
Yeah, no, I
Mr.
don't
XG.
think so.
No, they are. They definitely are.
We've had a lot of chances.
Mate, that is
We've had a lot of
embarrassing.
Jake.
You know what,
Yeah, a lot
right?
of
Fuck
chances.
me, that is embarrassing.
How many
that.
big chances does Spurs have?
It's Captain
Not
XG
many.
to you,
Not as many as you think.
Jacob, by the way.
Joey said such a great thing.
I'll get that
I
on
think
the
it was
back
on
of a
last
Chelsea
week.
shirt for Christmas for you.
It might have been last week's show, but Joey said, even though you lost your last game, was it to Brentford?
Yeah, Brentford.
He said,
Here we go.
You wouldn't have been surprised, even still, if you guys go and upset Chelsea, because that's just the way.
Upset Spurs,
Sorry,
yeah.
upset Spurs, because that's the way Chelsea are. You guys are so unpredictable, but the defending here has been mental at times, like even against 9 men.
So open.
I'll tell you one thing, although you can say, if Spurs had 11 on the pitch, we're about to play you boys in a couple of weeks, Brian. Surely you don't go in to a Chelsea match as a big side and think we're going to have an easy game here. You know there's going to be chaos.
Yeah, I mean, where is it? Is it Newcastle?
It's at Newcastle, yeah.
My thing right now is I don't know what the hell is going to be left of our squad by the time that rolls around. We are so thin. It's shocking. But if you said to me, full strength, I think we batter this Chelsea side. I don't even think it would be close. And despite all the money and all the technical ability of some of these players, you're just so disorganised. And like when we played Arsenal, we had two organised teams. It was so close, and it was going to take a goal like the one that came to separate the two because we're so well drilled and well coached.
It was that or a screamer, wasn't it?
Mate,
That was the only way it was
this lot, I think we should. And look, I'm saying this in theory because Arsenal didn't show up against Chelsea last time, but we should batter this lot.
Can I ask you a question then? And I know you'll give me an honest answer. Do you think that I'm wrong then when I sit here and look at Chelsea over the last sort of 10 weeks or so?
Mudrik's left one on him there.
Do you think I'm wrong to say that potentially one signing and we're not far from getting it right?
You know what? It's funny because at times when you play, you're looking at them going, "Fuck me, this lot, they've clicked." But then in the same fucking game, at the back, you look like a relegation battling side.
That's
so
it for me.
So going forward, I agree. Like if you added Ivan Toney, at times you look like a fucking world class side going forward. But then at times you look like a relegation side in the same fucking 90 minutes. I've never seen anything
Do
like.
you need another centre back?
No.
We're watching this defence today.
We got Chalobah. We still got whether he can ever get fit. Fofana, he was
Chelsea
highly
do a lot
rated.
of. We've talked about this on paper. On paper, Chelsea have a lot of great individuals, but they're not a well-drilled, well-coached side right now. They look a mile away from that to me. And this is the first time that I've questioned Pochettino so far because I'm looking at him like, you've got a bunch of fucking strangers who are trying to get to know each other. Of course it's going to be a hard season, but you're playing against 9 men right now and you're still giving away chances that, like that last one should have been 2-2. Chelsea are extremely lucky to not be 2-2. And I just think right now, until you sort that bit of the game out, well, you can buy Ivan Toney if you want because you're giving away chances.
Do you think that Spurs were doing a better job against Liverpool when they were down? Because obviously Liverpool
versus what? Sorry,
Liverpool had
Spurs
the
did nothing in that
Liverpool had the 2 sending offs, didn't they? So Liverpool were. I am right. Liverpool were down to 9. Liverpool were down to 9. We were watching the game here, and Spurs. I thought, listen, you make your own luck, but I thought we were a little bit lucky in the end to get the winner against Liverpool, to get that last minute winner against Liverpool. So when we look at the way that we're dealing with Spurs here, I'm only trying to find avenues that maybe I can give us a bit of praise, and I'll admit that. But I look at it and I go, well, going on that showing, maybe we've seen already this season, it ain't that easy being in this situation.
I don't know if it's got anything to do with Maddison. As well in this game, I think that was a major change. Like if it had stayed 10 men and Maddison was still on the pitch, I think that's a totally different.
The thing is, though, I feel like in this game, and just giving Chelsea the points, and in the sense of like you're playing that high line constantly, you're giving them the avenue to score and goal.
Yeah.
So Chelsea know the answer; they just have to get it right eventually. Whereas I think in future games, where teams play a deep block, we'll see how can you break that open because they're not playing a deep block; they're playing the opposite of a deep block.
Oh, we can't. I'll tell you now, we cannot break down the deep. We can't. A low block is our kryptonite. We
in a
can't
game like
beat
Newcastle, who are very organised defensively, you're going to have to really be clinical, and you don't have that. You don't have the box difference maker. That's what you don't have. Difference in the boxes. You've got everything outside the box on point.
Yeah,
but in that box, a poor goalkeeper and a poor striker, you ain't going to win many points.
I try to sort of remove the price tags from some of these players and just view them as a team. And if you view Chelsea as a team, despite some of the nice football we see week in, week out,
there's a lot of questions.
I'm looking at mid-table football, like in terms of organisation.
They can't defend set pieces, by the way.
They're a mess all over here, like in set pieces. They're too weak, man.
It feels like they've lost like the Chelsea mindset in the sense they've forgotten.
Bastards.
They've forgotten that you're still Chelsea. You're meant to be a big club. Like you're playing like you are like a Spurs in a sense, right?
We've hit reset, mate.
Yeah,
the Chelsea mentality doesn't exist anymore because we've reset the entire club.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing like the only players, Reece James, Colwill, Gallagher, they're the only ones that have.
And even they weren't playing in that era.
It was only Reece, yeah.
So even Reece grew up in it, but like fuck me, Poch needs to put that bastard mentality into this.
But it's not just also what we see on the pitch. You look at the overhaul of staff behind the scenes, and they are staff that they're not on the pitch doing it for us, but they're used to winning.
Can I say we've said a lot about it being the issue in either box for you boys. I'm going to say something today. How do you think Enzo's played?
I think Enzo, for me...
This is a hard
right?
one.
I think Enzo, for me, when he came in last season, I thought you looked really, really good. If you've got a Caicedo next to you, you look even better. Caicedo comes, for a couple of games, I'm thinking the same. And then, this is the furthest I'm going to go on it, because I am by no means going to write Enzo off. I think he's a class player. But I do think over the last 4-5 games, maybe, you could go right out of that midfield three, who, you know, I've been notorious by saying they're one of the best midfield threes in the league. Out of those three, Enzo's probably been the weak link, if you can call it.
He's the one that came off today. He's
Yeah.
the one that came off to make that 4-4-2 happen.
Think it was an injury.
He had just come back from missing a game, and then
The thing
Would you
with
swap him
Enzo,
for Declan Rice, by the way?
would I?
Yeah.
I wanted Declan Rice originally. I made
by the
it
way,
a secret.
Spurs.
Son is in?
Son.
No way! Oh, it's
Great
nearly
save,
in.
great
Good
save.
save. Fuck
Great
me.
save.
How is this happening? 9 men. Jesus Christ. If this was Newcastle, I'd be doing my fucking nut.
I want to give a little moment to Sanchez here because, again, a
save.
lot of people have been questioning him, saying he's not good enough, and he's done a very good save there. Well done to him.
That for me is still the question for
Oh, he's
Chelsea.
in.
Win.
He's in.
Win
Come
here.
on, now.
Chelsea are literally-
Please
Gotta
just
finish.
score this, boys, and finish it.
You got to finish it, bruv.
Goal!
Get
Jackson
in.
scores!
Game over.
3-1. Well done to the lad. I'm happy
The
for him.
only feeling I have here is relief because otherwise they were going to be in here. It could easily be 2-all.
That's
Could
completely
easily-
on Ange, by the way, though. That's
What are you
completely on
doing?
Ange.
You've seen you get
I'm happy
exploited
from
time
Jackson.
and time again. Like, that's just such awful management from Ange. Like, you can see that even with 11 men, they were getting opened up with the same exact.
You know
path
what he's thinking?
time
What
and
else
time
We're
they
again.
gonna
2-1
do?
down. Let's
What else
fucking
they
try
gonna
and win the
do?
game.
I don't blame him because what else are they going to do? They've
but I'm-
been
okay,
playing
maybe-
the whole game.
maybe
The
less of this
thing is,
goal, though.
Josh,
It's the last goal.
if they'd only just started doing it now, I'd say you're right. Fair enough.
know,
It's extra
okay.
time. Go for it. This has been 45 minutes. we've
I
watched
think
this.
for me,
They've
right,
been playing like
he
this 3
deserves some
minutes to
credit.
go for about an hour.
So
Ange,
true.
Ange has definitely got some credit in the bank, though, hasn't he? He's set them up in a very, very good way so far this season, and they've been brilliant. So I don't think
Have
we
they
can
been
judge
challenged?
45 minutes.
Have they been
Yeah,
challenged?
that's a different conversation, isn't it?
Jesus Christ, that's not great from the keeper, you know. Like, no offense to Jackson, but even when he's fucking scoring, it's
I
still
know,
shit.
yeah, it's still-
Like, it was literally so close to the keeper.
Oh.
Like, I'm not being funny, but
It's like he's
this
trying
might be
his
the
not
last
to.
goals we see of Jackson, so let's enjoy them while they're here. No, I mean, good for him. I'm happy. Like, it mustn't be easy to be a striker on that much pressure. He's putting his head and he's saying, hopefully this kick gives him the confidence that he's clearly lacking to kick on. But yeah, what a weird game, because I'm kind of watching it like, Chelsea are winning, but I'm seeing so many bad things that they're doing that I'm kind of like...
This is honestly, and we've got 2 Chelsea fans next to us who made you screaming. I kind of think this has been a bad game for both teams.
Yeah.
I kind of think Chelsea might come away from this feeling like, I wish we were a little bit more conviction. And I think how Chelsea will feel, and it's the way you both reacted to that goal, we got away with it.
We did.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, mate, is that we've lost so many games that we should have won this season. So to finally win a game that we shouldn't, maybe like you could say we shouldn't have won it. I think you could easily say that. Like if the red cards hadn't happened, it would have been a completely different game. So look, to win a game like this, to get the result when we've been, backs to the wall, arguably, not in terms of the phase of play, I think is good. So finally,
of course it's
finally.
good. Of course it's good. But what makes it good is when you build on it, and you couldn't build on the Arsenal draw. That was a setback when you lost to who was it again?
Brentford.
Sorry, that was a shocking performance. They need to start fucking kicking on after this. Fuck me.
Mate, they need a set piece coach because I do
Yeah.
not know what
Mate,
I'm
so
watching.
Every time Spurs lump the ball in, Chelsea are a fucking mess.
The other thing is, like we've mentioned it a couple of times, this is like what's happened to Spurs tonight? Unbelievable. Like honestly, like if you'd have said to a Tottenham fan, what's the worst thing that could happen Monday night? You wouldn't be able to script this. I guess it sounds ridiculous, but the worst thing that could happen is we lose, I don't know, 4 players to injury, a red card, and we get beaten as well.
Then another red card.
Then another red card. Exactly. It's
You forgot that.
unbelievable, man. If you were writing this in a sitcom, you'd be like, it's a bit on the nose. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's Spurs. They could have gone top of the league, beaten
Bro.
Chelsea at home. They were 1-0 up in the first 10 minutes. Oh, also amazing. Now look at this now.
And I'll tell you what, when I spent the last few days getting stick left, right and centre after some of my comments around the combined Spurs and Chelsea 11, I just thought to myself, there's going to be someone up there looking down on me thinking, I'm going to throw you a bone soon, mate.
No, we were laughed at. We were absolutely laughed at.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Jackson's
yeah.
in again.
Come
Yeah,
on.
go on.
Jackson, get your hat trick.
Oh my God.
Go on, Mudryk.
Oh,
He
Jack.
didn't even want it. He didn't even want it.
most
He didn't
reluctant
even want
hat-trick you've ever seen.
Oh, Jacko.
no.
You
He's just done the Cristiano
smooth
Ronaldo.
criminal.
He's just done the Sui. Sui.
When you
Trust the
begin to
process.
imagine how mental this game is, and you think of a player like him who's missed sitters today and in every other game, getting a hat-trick, that sums this game.
Jackson
Watch him.
has
He
scored more goals in this game than every single player in Man United's attack. Doubled.
Oh, man.
Look at that. He almost falls over. He doesn't want to score.
He doesn't want to score it.
Genuinely, it's so weird because I've never seen a player score a goal and still he looks so
Yeah.
terrible.
You know
When
we were
Torres
talking
round the Barcelona,
yeah.
nice and
Valdez.
smooth. That.
Nah.
that.
Take a picture.
Mate, you know we were talking about like the lack of attacking talent in Europe at the moment. We're talking
Mate.
about like
He
Darwin
looks-
Nunez
yeah.
and Jackson. They look like they're
You
drunk
said
playing football.
Nunez. You said Nunez was Haaland drunk. That was Nunez drunk.
No, that was that was me drunk on the dance floor in Whitley Babe when I was like 22, 23. It didn't look great, but look, the guy's got a hat-trick, so fuck me, good on him. Like I hope this actually kickstarts him in the Premier League because he fucking needs it.
How's Spurs' title charge going now? Is it still happening? I mean, Spurs title
not looking
contender.
Oh, are they still above you in the league though?
Yeah, they are.
Sorry.
Where are you guys, by the way? They're above you as well.
I got to stick up for
Karma,
Spurs.
Babs,
Sorry,
karma,
someone's
karma.
got to stick up for. This could be 5-1 at this rate.
No,
This
no,
is
no.
Go
mental.
on, Mudryk.
Mudryk.
Go on, Mudryk.
Yeah, go on.
Surely.
Gets it.
He's back. Jackson's back.
What is that finish?
He can only do
Oh,
it when
my
Pods,
God.
man, I
He's
feel
fuming.
sorry.
He's
The cream
You
will
can't
always rise
say
to the
that he
top.
doesn't entertain. He's a very entertaining player. I'll tell you that. He's interesting. Every time he does something.
I'll say this: he's fantastic for the neutrals,
I'm
Jackson.
saying,
As a neutral, I love him.
Him and Nunez on the same team.
This has been the most mental game I think I've ever.
Normal service resumed at 3-point lane.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck me. This is the thing. Even though I've seen like things about Chelsea to worry me, like I'm sure all the Chelsea fans will be like, "Who gives a fuck?" It's 3 points, full time. They've won.
Bring it in.
We've needed that. But lads, I'm sorry, but we've been through it this season. We've needed that win.
Yeah.
We didn't deserve it. We've got lucky with that.
And at
really.
the end of the
No,
day,
you deserve
no
that.
one's going to
Yeah,
remember the
also love
performance. You said there another team would have put them to the sword. I even agree that Newcastle would have put them to the sword there. The scoreline is what we'll remember, and we did put them to the sword, technically.
Yeah.
Quick question for the table before we move on to the next topic. How badly does this impact Spurs? And like, try and take the Arsenal. I know you want it to impact them badly, but realistically, they've absolutely capitulated in this game.
Yeah.
They've lost 2 players, defensively been exposed. Big Ange has been exposed for being way too attacking for far too long in this game at 9 men. Like you said, Jacob, he should have hung on to the end and then gone for it. Instead, he's given. And look, they've had their chances. They nearly got their reward from multiple set pieces where Chelsea just couldn't defend. But do Spurs collapse now, or can he turn it around?
I think it's all on that Maddison injury. I don't know what it was. I don't know how hard it's hurt him. I honestly think the worst thing that's happened to them today, worse than the 3 points, worse than the red cards, I think it's that Maddison injury. If he's fit next weekend and they play this football, they're still playing to his strengths. And by the way, that first goal, it was his pass that cut through the Chelsea team. It's all on Maddison.
And also Van der Ven at the back, hamstring injury. How well will he even recover from that? Like that's a serious.
Didn't look like a 3-week.
It didn't look. It looked like a snap.
Mate, it was a bad one, and you said as well. You said, "Why is no one getting him a stretcher?" They were letting him walk off the pitch on his own. That probably knocked another 6 weeks onto his recovery. It was well bad.
So this could be disastrous for Spurs. Like they could fall like a stone here.
If I'm a
It's
Spurs fan right
scary.
now, I'm just Googling Maddison's name all night.
Yeah.
Just trying to find something. Give me some good news. Tell me it's a knock. Tell me he's going to be all right next week. The defence has obviously been hit. We've watched how they play. They don't do much in the defence. They're not there to do too much. If Maddison's on that pitch, they will still win games. It's all down to that.
Do you know what I think? I think when they lost Harry Kane in the summer, we all looked at him, we went, it's doom and gloom. And as much as Son, Maddison, obviously the sort of unlikely rise of Yves Bissouma and Van der Ven, these players have stepped up to the plate. I think that we can't underplay how good Postecoglou's been. And because of that, I don't think they will fall like a stone here. I think they got to an extent, unlucky in this match. I'm not going to sit here now and say it was a classic Chelsea performance and we're back. We could have very easily lost this match on another day had it gone another way. So I don't think that this is doom and gloom for Spurs. They'll be gutted because they should have won this match the way they started. But I don't think that we're now going to see them completely fall off. They'll struggle without the injuries, but I think they've got a really good manager there.
You know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about the £100 million they've got in the bank from Harry Kane and that January transfer window coming up. And I think if they can...
They've already spent 50, by the way.
I know.
But what's his name?
Johnson, Brendan Johnson.
They definitely need to thicken up the squad because it is so thin. But one thing I am convinced by, and I could be wrong in the long term, but I think Big Ange is a real fucking threat to the Premier League. I'm not saying he's going to win titles, but I think he's going to have them in a good position because he's got balls as a manager and he always goes out for the kill. And looking at the way Eddie Howe changed Newcastle and transformed us, even when players drop like flies, that mentality sucked throughout the squad. And I think he's going to do that for Spurs. He just needs to have those backups. And I think top six, they should still manage that. And if they readjust their expectations, it's been a fucking hell of a start. But top six for Spurs this season, for me, considering I thought without Harry Kane they'd be mid-table, is still a very solid, strong season. And then they can build from there.
I have to say, we should give them some credit tonight as well. Like, they've had to play with 9 men for a considerable amount of time, and they did look like they were going to tear us open at the end of the game. Like, we got a few late goals.
Jeez.
So I have to say, credit to them, credit to the players on the pitch. They were very, very good. And that's why they have been right up there. They've got an elite mentality. They seem like they are a very good group of lads. So I think we should give them a bit of credit.
They still stopped the ball in the back of the net 3 times.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that. All right, VAR, whatever. But the players don't know that when the game's going on.
Exactly.
That
Stuck the
shot
ball
by
in the-
Dyer was outrageous.
Do you not think, like, you're not concerned about Spurs' defence at all? Like, even with 11 men, were they looking open defensively?
I'm concerned with the injuries and the suspensions. I
Even
think
with it,
really
without
scary.
injuries, I don't know. I think Spurs are good, and I think Ange is a threat going forwards. Yeah, he's up there with the very best managers. But what Newcastle have, Arsenal have, City have, it's organisation. Spurs just look disorganised. Even before, people forget that 11 men, you were pressing them. There was a phase where you could have scored before that anyway. So it was coming. They were asking for trouble. I just think they're very naive. And I don't know if it's just the Postecoglou thing where he's like a big ballsy on attack, or is it just a thing of this game? Because I've seen it in the Arsenal game as well, where they kept playing out at the back and we were causing them issues, and they got away with that one. Quite well done.
I think you're completely right. Yeah, they are vulnerable and they are naive. In terms of the last debate of the day, the question is, who finishes higher this season? Chelsea or Manchester United? We've got 2 underperforming clubs full of high money, high value stars. Who comes out on top?
Easy answer, Chelsea. Like, I don't know why this is a debate.
Why
mean,
is
right-
it so...
right
Yes,
now,
Babs,
just-
I like it.
just for context, just before Babs elaborates, Man United on 18 points, Chelsea on 15.
No. I look at United and I think they've got one very important aspect wrong, and that's midfield. And I don't think they've got the personnel to change it. Chelsea have got the personnel there. Not talking about strikers, but talking midfield defensively. Defensively, like, your record's not that bad, by the way. Like, I know in this game it was a bit open at times, but even like in terms of XG, I mean, Spurs had, I'd say, 2 big chances. Like, it wasn't massive amount of chances. Even their goal came with a deflected shot. So Chelsea aren't bad defensively.
Our
They have
defense
bad
has been
moments.
very solid,
And I
yeah.
think you lose a bit of composure at times. But I think with United is the midfield is just, they don't have the right profiles. Mount and Casemiro, does that work together? Unless they invest in midfield, and also Ten Hag, we don't know if he's going to be there long term. I think there will be a change of manager there. I don't think Chelsea will
Why do
sack.
you think that?
I think Ten Hag, I don't think he's got that long there because there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of players that seem to be like Rashford. Like, that's your best player, and he doesn't seem to be for you. So there seems to be some sort of stuff happening behind the scenes. And because I think Ten Hag will get sacked eventually, there will be uncertainty. Who are United going to get then? Who's the next manager for United going to be? The Glazers will then get blamed as well because it's Glazers' fault for everything, by the way. Right? So, I don't know. I think for me, it's Chelsea because Chelsea have everything done except for the box difference maker, which if you sign in January, by the way, then, Chelsea...
Ivan Toney linked, etc.
And I think, look, people are underrating how good Chelsea have, in terms of the quality, Enzo, Caicedo, Gallagher. This is top quality midfield, by the way. So you have to look at United's team and go, they're good, but they don't really have a great attack. The defence is all over the place at times. Midfield is not there either. So Chelsea have got everything right, apart from the final stages. United, I don't know what's going on there.
What's interesting with United though is they seem to play so badly and yet still win. I don't understand how they do it, and that's what scares me in this debate because it's like, do they get the points more than we do? Because we could play amazing in games and still get done against Brentford.
They've got elite attacking quality. And that's the difference. And I think what Chelsea have got to hope over this course of the season is that your process wins out because you've got a better process, you've got a better way of playing football. I think you've got better midfielders. I think you've got some better defenders. United have got elite attacking quality. We spoke earlier about that gap in your team in terms of the number 9 and number 10 positions. I don't like saying it. You put Bruno Fernandes into your team, you're a hell of a team. You put Marcus Rashford into your team, you're a hell of a team.
Yeah.
Even Højlund would improve Chelsea.
I think you can play very badly. And by the way, Manchester United do. You watch the games they win. They don't play well.
No.
They don't play well in those games.
That's what I mean.
They have elite attacking quality that scores them goals and wins them games.
They rely on individual brilliance.
Absolutely.
They don't have a system. Ten Hag has not got his team tactically well set up, but they've got quality.
It's the beauty of having players that are elite ball strikers. Bruno Fernandes could have a stink of a game, but he can strike a ball so cleanly that at one point he was going to find a shot on target and it will go in. Same with Marcus Rashford. Chelsea don't have the XG cheater. They don't have that player that will have a half chance to score it. It's about he has to be a tapping like Jackson had today, like time and time again. Even when he has half a chance, it might blaze over the bar. So because of that, United, you're right, have that elite quality. I don't want to say it's elite attack. I think it's just that one little thing they have there. But if Chelsea have Nkunku come back, which we're forgetting, by the way, that could be the difference.
How can we say that United have elite quality when Højlund has got
that's
a
what-
goal?
yeah,
and
that's
assist?
what
we say about Højlund.
Yeah.
Højlund hasn't yet scored. He's had
Let
more
me elaborate.
starts.
Let me elaborate. Højlund does not get service. If Højlund had half the service Jackson has, he would absolutely be eclipsing anything Jackson
He has
done
missed
this
a lot of
season.
saves, though.
But then you just said Højlund doesn't get service. What's going to change?
No, I'm just saying, for example, if Højlund was in this
Right.
Chelsea team, I think he would absolutely be outperforming Jackson right now.
I'd probably agree with you.
I think the issue right now is he's not getting
look-
service. But when he does get service, I'm convinced that he has ability to convert the chances. More so, Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford, when things do click, which at some point they're going to start having a bit more form, as Bruno Fernandes did, in what was, and I'm not just saying this, maybe the worst game of football I have ever had to sit through in my goddamn life. Fulham, Manchester United. And Fulham, you take a lot of responsibility. My God, you lot are fucking terrible. Like, Iwobi, I can't believe he sat there with Ian Wright and started acting like he's a big-time footballer. Man, what happened to you, bro? That team was so shocking going forward. Like, any half-decent team beat Man United that day. Man United were terrible. And look, they're celebrating fair play. You got the 3 points, you deserve it. But the way Fulham couldn't clear that ball out, it was like watching one of those old TV sketches, you know? It was horrendous. But Man United are absolute trash, but I always look at them and go, you've got those match winners. And I don't know, as good as I think Cole Palmer is, and a couple of other those Chelsea players are, it's hard watching them. It doesn't seem to click yet, whereas Man United have got the finished articles and Chelsea are like that young growing team that can't put it together.
But are we ignoring an elephant in a room here when we're looking at it and we're going, we have absolutely no doubt that Pochettino has all those boys very much invested into the project we've got here.
How do you know that?
You can see it.
I really don't say that. Like, I'm not saying that he's not, but I don't say it for sure.
So obviously you lot don't, and why would you? Maybe Josh does. We watch a lot of like the behind the scenes stuff, the training ground footage, things like that. We also read a lot of the quotes that the players are saying about it. You know, we had Enzo and Caicedo come out this week and say people don't really, I'm paraphrasing, but people don't realise what a good team we've got here when it clicks and how competitive and how we're going to win titles here. And I get that you might say, well, everyone's going to say that, but I very much think when you look at the man management he's doing so far and the players that are playing for him, I think there's not even a question there of has Poch lost the dressing room?
All right, okay.
There's a very obvious question.
It's an easier dressing room to manage, though. Let's be honest about that. Well, like, when we're talking about a Man United dressing room, we spoke about the wages most of them on, but also there's some big international players in there. Chelsea's a slightly easy dressing room. I'm not saying they're not talented.
No,
I'm
you're
saying
right.
There's a lot of players playing their first league in the Premier League, and you're looking at a manager who has won stuff, who's managed at PSG. I think you've got a much better manager than Manchester United have, and I think you've got a manager who's much better suited to your project and better suited to the league. I do think you have to be fair on him a little bit and say that Manchester United dressing room, it don't look easy.
I would say, though, Chelsea have multiple £100 million players, though. So I don't want to give Ten Hag too much slack. Like, Poch has got his work cut out as well. And by the way, Poch has got a whole brand new group of people who don't even fucking know each other. Whereas at least Ten Hag has those previous friendship groups to build off of. But yeah, I think it's quite ironic that when we look back at it, when Ten Hag was appointed, there was almost a social media campaign of Manchester United fans saying, we do not want Pochettino, we want Ten Hag. Well, be careful what you wish for, because I absolutely do believe that Poch is going to outlast Ten Hag, and I believe the long term, he will be the better manager. But this season, I do feel like Man United have a little bit more firepower.
Do you know what this reminds me of, right? It's Arsenal Spurs 2021. Like, Chelsea are the more expensive version of Arsenal's young team. And what United have is what Spurs had with just Son and Kane, Bruno and Rashford.
Yep.
And if United get the right manager in, like one that could just make the attack efficient, get the best out of Bruno and Rashford, then they're going to have those games where they'll be awful. Like they're not as good as Chelsea across the entirety of the pitch. But in that final third, they have that one thing of going, like, give Bruno the ball, he'll play in a pass, and then Højlund might score. So maybe this season, United actually might, I'll take it back, maybe they might go over them. Maybe, if you don't have a goal scorer. But over the course of the next 2-3 years, you're going to lead United.
If you look at the last couple of times that Man United have parted with managers, if they do it in the season, they only do it when it becomes basically mathematically impossible that they're going to qualify for Europe. So I think that this sort of tendership under Ten Hag, it could carry, I'm not saying it will, he might turn things around, but it could carry on in this vein for quite a while now before he ends up getting the chop.
The maddest thing about Ten Hag is this is the worst performing team I've ever seen in my life have this many points. I am astounded at 18 points for Manchester United and 20 points for Newcastle. I am mind blown by I can't believe that Arsenal only have 6 points more than, like, when you look at the difference. Like, Manchester United to me look like a relegation side. Like, when I watch them play football against Fulham, you can't sit there and go, one's better than the other. They're both absolutely horrendous.
But then do you know why that's so impressive? Because I said to you before a ball was kicked, if we don't win tonight, if we get beat tonight, season, apart from maybe the domestic cups, are pretty much done, right? And that is because the damage has been done. I was saying to you, I don't doubt that at some point we could start to tick, get things right, go on a 6-game unbeaten run or whatever, but the damage is going to be done. If by some sort of miracle, which it looks like at the moment, Man United do suddenly click, they get things right, Rashford starts playing, Bruno Fernandes ups his attitude and starts performing like he did a little bit to get a winner in that last match, then all of a sudden, you look at it and you go, you know what? You're only a win or two off top four anyway.
It's mental.
But don't you think there's a theme here that United's wins against teams that they should be beating? And like last year, the teams in the good games, they keep getting battered. It's the same thing as last year.
Yeah, but the difference this season is in those games against the teams that they should be beating, they're performing horrendous. Like, they should be losing those games as well now. Yeah. This is the first time where I'm like, you guys should be a relegation battling team. They're that bad. But look, you're completely right. I think that it could click. And the one thing I will say is, as we point out, Chelsea have a lot of young players. Man United have established players who not long ago have won Europa Leagues, who've actually competed at a high level. They've finished second. They've done stuff, right? So let's put it to a vote. I'll start with you, Babs. Who finishes higher, Chelsea or Man United?
I'm going to stick with Chelsea.
Jacob?
Thing is, because we're in a 4, and I know what you guys are going to say, I probably think Chelsea. I'll say United.
No. Fuck that. Let's tell the truth. Come on.
Yeah, Chelsea. I think Chelsea will finish higher. I think Chelsea will.
Man United. Nah, joking. Chelsea. Of course it's Chelsea.
I think Chelsea, I honestly believe this. Taking my bias out of it, I do think we finish high. I just think they've been so dysfunctional. I've just looked at the fixtures they've won, by the way. They've beaten very easy teams. Teams that they should be beating.
Brian's right there. They scraped those games.
Yeah, and scraped
It's like last-minute corner kicks.
Yeah,
bro, when I watched that Bruno Fernandes goal going against Fulham, I belly laughed. I was like,
United goal.
The defending from Fulham and the way it drops to Bruno Fernandes, there's something about them. And when Man United, they've won 5 or 6 games this season. They've played so bad and they keep managing it. I'm like, something's going right for you guys this season. I'm gonna say Manchester United scrape it higher than Chelsea.
I think it's tight. I think it's going to be super tight. And I have to say, I do think it's a lot on either you guys getting a striker or a forward in January or Nkunku coming good. Mm-hmm. Because I'm telling you now, if you play like that all season, United do just have the quality that they might finish above you. Do you know what I mean? They are getting those bits of luck.
United about to get tested though. They got Everton away, Newcastle away, then Liverpool away as well.
Chelsea.
So these are the away games. You've got Chelsea in between that as well. Villa away coming up. Listen, this is about to be difficult for Man United. So
December is make or break for Man United.
It is. It's good to look at United fans.
Do you know what as well? We're talking about the managerial situation there. I feel like I've been doing the kickoff for ages now. But on my first ever show, we did a little vote round the table, didn't we? We said first manager out of the big clubs to get sacked, because history would tell us that one of the big managers is going to get sacked. We all sat round the table and said Ten Hag. And we're now what? 12 weeks on from that show, and we're all sitting here and still going, probably Ten Hag.
Do you think he gets to Christmas?
Now I've heard that run of fixtures.
Yeah.
I'm not
I don't
sure.
know,
If they-
mate, I'm the
if they
same.
lose to Copenhagen in the week, could that be the game?
He could
no,
go.
it won't
The
be.
thing
Why
is,
not?
his next two
They
games
get
are good.
these sporting-
Copenhagen, and they got Luton at home. So if he can win 2 games,
I think there's two kinds of Man United fans. There's the ones who really watch the football and the ones who just celebrate the result. Because I see the difference on social media where the people who are champion Ten Hag, I'm like, you really don't know what you're looking at, do you? And when them lot switch on, it's curtains for him because they're going to need the results to change.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and if that happens, then he will be gone. But look, we're going to wrap it up there. Big love to everyone who's been watching. This has been one of the best episodes of the Kickoff ever.
Been one of the best days of my life.
The match has been fantastic. The drama's been great. Even Jackson got a hat-trick for fuck's sake. Big love to everyone. Big love to all of the lads. Don't forget to check them out on social media. And we will see you next week. Thanks very much. Well done.